Meanwhile, you're always about women's business, always talking about the sisters, always talking to the sisters. They've got mahrams, they've got walis, they've got their guardians, and it isn't you. I mean, I hate to use their terminology, but this is about the most beta thing you can possibly do. Always in the women's section. And the irony is that these are the same ones who are endlessly droning on and on about masculinity. Meanwhile, you can't do the basic thing, the most basic thing that men do as men, which is to ignore women. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't mean that in an obnoxious way, but women have their world, their sphere, and men have their world and their sphere. But meanwhile, you're always trying to weasel your way into the sphere of women, under the guise of nasiha, under the guise of advice. But you're just like a peeping Tom who's trying to justify why he's doing what he's doing by saying that you're just trying to check up on the sisters to make sure that they're safe. No, it's not your business. The men are over here, brother. Meanwhile, you keep sliding your way back to where the sisters are. And, this is very disrespectful. It's very insulting to their walis. I mean, let's take this offline, Let me catch you on the street talking to my wife or talking to my sisters about how they shouldn't go out, or they shouldn't go to the gym, or they shouldn't go to school, or you don't like the way they're dressed, or what have you. I wish you would. You better hope that that red pill you took is a painkiller, because you're going to be dancing cheek to cheek with the concrete. Yeah.
Get your life, baby. I got mine, why you can serve my mind, baby. Feeling me, that's why they killing me, lady. Get your life. Get your life, baby. I got mine, why you can serve my mind, baby. Feeling me, that's why they killing me, lady. Your life. Run up when you see me, no disguises. Keep that thing with me, cause I don't do surprises. J Chanel, show and tell, all facts, no lies, streak. Get your life, cause I'm the type that come to it that 9 quick. Eyes on me, what you care for? Watching me, baby, care for. If you ain't a fan, where the cameras? Hide in the back with the bellboys. My circle so restricted. Hands raised like it's your religion. When I sleep, pay close attention. Fake friends out here pretending. Get your life, baby. I got mine, why you can serve my mind, baby. Feeling me, that's why they killing me, baby. Get your life. Get your life, baby. I got mine, why you can serve my mind, baby. Feeling me, that's why they killing me, baby. Get your life.
Focus there.
Watch them cause they after me like a pot of gold. I'm not for play, ask Keisha if you don't know. I'm a little bit cray-cray, approach me, you better be right. If you don't come correctly, you can catch these hands tonight. Eyes on me, what you care for? Watching me, baby, care for. If you ain't a fan, where the cameras? Hide in the back with the bellboys. My circle's so restricted. Hands raised like it's your religion. When I sleep, pay close attention. Fake friends out here pretending. Get your life, baby. I got mine, why you can serve my mind, baby. Feeling me, that's why they killing me, baby. Get your life. Get your life, baby. I got mine, why you can serve my mind, baby. Feeling me, that's why they killing me, baby. Get your life,
boo.
Alrighty. Good morning, good evening, good night, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Saturday edition of the Chop Shop. I'm your nighttime, right time DJ Music. And you see what's up on the screen right there, what we'll be talking about today. I'll have a couple guests joining me so we can revisit. I did this stream a couple months ago, and we were talking about the invisible men and how guaranteed income programs for new moms diminish dads. As I labeled these gentlemen back then, I'm going to call them out as I still see them today. Black manosphere in suits. To help me out here a little bit today, there, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call him a right hand from time to time. You know, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing sometimes if it not been for this young lady right here. Welcome in, Shar Willie. How you doing? How's Shy Time?
Hello. It is rainy. It is a lot of people in town for Lollapalooza and a lot of traffic. That's what's happening.
Yeah, it is that time. It is that time of the year for the shoot you Chicagoans, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. As the rain kept some people out, or is it hustle, and muscling?
Oh, that don't stop them people. They
Yeah.
done paid them $100 to see in their concert. They're gonna be out there. They got their ponchos on and they ready.
Yeah. I gotta say, for a city that turned the whole lake green, you know. So, like I said about that. but anyway, sure. You wanted to I guess take another look into this Delano Squires and the as I call them, the three stooges that he had up on the panel.
Yeah, I thought it'd be great to have ABT because I can imagine some of the things that she would say.
Mhm.
And for me, listening to it, I had so many questions and was so surprised. I'm like, this needs to be a little deep dive with a couple of women asking questions and seeing what the answer may be, you know?
That would be an interesting take because the last time that I covered this, I did it kind of on my own, But from what I was reading down in the chat room, a lot of the women that were there that day, Sharp, was like, "What the hell are they talking about?"
And I'm fair, as you say, fair and imbalanced. I'm
Hmm.
very fair and I have questions. And again, I always approach things with you being right.
Hmm.
So now that we got that established, just explain to me how you're right.
Right, and what way does this new welfare system diminishing the what you call it? As we've heard, you and I've been around these YouTube streets, as they say, for a while now. Welfare kicked the black daddy out the house. What ran him out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really don't understand that. I heard it and I'm like, not quite
Well,
sure.
To me, Sean, let me go ahead and say this. To me,
Okay.
it's kind of an oxymoron for these guys, these four particular educated. I got to give them credit what credit's due. Educated black men to fall under the spell of the Heritage Foundation. For you folks that don't know anything about the Heritage Foundation, I would suggest that you go look it up and see exactly what the damage that the Heritage Foundation is doing to black people and more so black women in general. So, but this is who they represent. And you'll see what I'm talking about here in a little bit. For those of you who have never seen this before, I'm like, well, good God. What about you, Sean? Hey, what do you think about it? I know you've heard me talk about the Heritage Foundation before. Do you see them as a help to black people, black culture, or anything?
What I find it to be is a place to convince um, black men to invest in to join the white people.
Assimilation.
Yeah, I'll say
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Hey there, Genesis. I am. How you doing? I gotta use it. Wait a minute. Let me put it up on the screen. Hey, sugars. How you doing? How you doing? Welcome in. Welcome in. Good to see you. But yeah, again, that's why I say it's kind of like an oxymoron because these men seem educated, and so they're able to read and they're able to comprehend. So as I looked over Project 2025 and the deep dive that you've done and I've done and ABT and a few of the others, Prism has come on and talked about it. A few of the other folks have come on and talked about it. I don't see how they could stand up and say, yeah, we're for Project 2025 and soon to be Project 2026 as it relate to trying to better the black family.
Yeah, it seems like I would say you have to have some blinders on in order to not see what it is that is an issue for you,
Hmm.
if that makes sense. Because I get it when it comes down to people liking this administration for the tax benefit. I get that part, and they're well, the blinders or ignoring the other part of it. Yeah, Jay Z, he wrote it best about, still niggas. So
Yeah.
regardless, you can save taxes on your, I don't know, $600,000 a year or your $1 million a year, but things are being stripped from you. So it's going to affect you. If not today, it will tomorrow.
And especially because these gentlemen that we see on the screen here, I would say they're in their 40s, maybe early 50s for some of them. So the plans that they're trying to implement won't. Yeah, I'm sure, of course, it'll have some effect on them, but we're talking about more of a long lasting effect on their children and their grandchildren. When you say,
Yeah, it would. Um, and then also because the way things are, we do have, I guess, better education, and we are being around those who we're around. We're dating them and marrying them and having children with them. So you're going to get a mixed race anyway. So
hmm,
how do you separate a mixed race? How do you do that? The guy
yeah,
is white, the woman is black or Latino or Asian or whatever else. How do you separate that?
I don't really think. I, I wish I had a no. I was trying to come up with something clever to say, but I can't. But look, and this though, as the old saying goes, the heart knows what it wants. You can't tell people who to like and who to fall in love with and who to be around. Correct. So to me, this this business of, like you said, the country itself, we see is turned into, dare I use this word, a lighter shade of brown. What'd you say?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
this is what's happening. Yeah.
So wouldn't these guys be better off what we're about to listen to? Wouldn't it be better off to propose this message to not only just black families, but people in general?
Yeah. And that's the thing, too. That's my question. Why are you just targeting I think it's now 14% of America?
Hmm.
Why is it 14% America? This is an issue for just them. I don't get that.
Right, right. What's up there, Black and Proud? How you doing, good brother? Great to see you as always. Welcome in, welcome in. I got a shout out to a young lady that I met. I remembered a couple of days ago, Shaw. I was out, didn't have a had a phone. I had some phone issues, so I had to go and get a new phone. Well, I
Yeah.
tell you what, Jessica from Metro PCS, you hooked me up. She gave me a package I just could not resist.
All right.
Nothing wrong with free. Because my intent was to go and I figure I'd step up to the plate and get an iPhone, right?
Hmm.
Nah, nah. Nah, I'm in the line of work that I'm in, I'd be ultra peeved if I open up the truck door and that phone fell out and hit the concrete.
A blank, a blank.
Yeah,
You'll say, yeah.
yeah, that's that. But anyway, shout out to you, Jessica. Thank you so very much for your hospitality. And actually, she probably might be joining us on a few of our platforms later on because she's looking to start her own YouTube channel. That's why I invited her here. I don't know if you,
Wonderful.
yeah. So actually, you know how I like those folks with that bubbly personality, sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I tell you what, she was a handful. Kept me in stitches the whole time I was there. But let's get back to it. All right, Jessica, shameless plug.
Shout out to Jessica.
but check it out. I mean, as I listened to this, and I went back last night, I listened to it again, and I tried to listen to it with fresh ears. And when I did, show a lot of things that I that they said then. I didn't think about now, but now it's more prevalent, especially knowing what we know in the news and what Trump is up to and what the Heritage Foundation is up to. To me, these are just men, manosphere men in suits with a little bit more education that is trying to push the Project 2025 agenda.
Okay. Yeah, I've only listened to 2 minutes and 15 seconds and stopped it right there. Did a Google search, which will share the screen to prove the first thing that came out of his mouth that he wrote is incorrect.
All right.
And then we'll just go off the muscle, as you say,
All
from
right.
there.
Well, let's do that. Let me take that off the screen then. Let me take down the placard here. Hold on a second. I'm getting better at this. I am getting better. I'm getting better. All right. So tell us what we're looking at here, Shaw.
Well, this is the first thing that he mentioned. So when we get to the 2 minutes and 15 seconds, he's going to tell you the first thing his, I think in his chapter, he's
Hmm.
going to tell you that there was it was welfare program that was created for people or women to have children before getting married. So that's going to be debunked. So you can roll that beautiful being footage, and then we can revisit this search.
All righty. All right. Let's go ahead and do that. And ABT, if you're out in the audience, I'll drop the link here in just a second so you can grab it. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and do that right now. Let me do that right now. If anybody else wants to come up, again, please be respectful when you're up here. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, whether you agree or disagree. If you're on the vertical stream, I don't know if you'll be able to grab the link, so you'll have to come over the YouTube channel itself. And if you don't mind, folks, I'd like to ask you like, share, and subscribe. If you don't mind, don't cost you nothing to hit the like button. Not even 99 cents. I won't even ask for that. Yeah. Pow. Shots fired. Shots fired.
Hmm.
But anyway, let's take this off. Let's put this up here. Here we go.
Thank you. You all are very kind. I want to say welcome to everyone who's joining us here for this event. Thank you for coming to the Heritage Foundation. This is a big day. One, Father's Day is coming up on Sunday. I know it's only Tuesday, but Father's Day is coming up. Two, today is the official launch of my book, The Vanishing Black Family, How Welfare and Feminism Made Marriage Optional and Children Vulnerable. And the reason
Now, before we go any further, that was one of the things that stuck to me: the vanishing black family. Is the black family really vanishing, Sharia? I know you're in Chicago, which is a predominantly black area, but are there not a lot of black families in Chicago?
There are. So if he wants to actually try to be specific and say marriage in 2026, that would be all over. That wouldn't just be just Black America.
Hmm.
So but we know that's not what he's speaking of. He's not speaking of that. He's just trying to
Right.
say, oh, it's just shot.
Yeah. Yeah, the shock value is what they're seeing. We're slowly but surely we're getting to the talking points of the Heritage Foundation. But he starts off. I would say he started off slow, but no, he came into those slinging heritage BS.
The reason that I want to have this event is because I was starting to notice something in the social science space with respect to programs that are promoted as helping moms and babies. And it's not that I'm against that, but one of the things that I noticed is that so often fathers would be cut out of the family story. It's actually one of the things that I write about in the book. But before I get to the book, let me just say a few words. Again, one, thank you. Thank you to the esteemed panelists who you will hear from shortly. I want to say thank you to my colleagues who've been extremely supportive over the last 4 years as I've endeavored to take this project on. Thank you to my friends, who have been debating with me and arguing with me since I was a teenager on some of these issues. I feel incredibly blessed to have my mom in the audience and my lovely, lovely wife in the audience who has been a source of inspiration for me over the last 15 years.
Yeah.
And hopefully my dad is watching and the kids are watching at home. But I wanted to have this event because, as I said, I noticed something disturbing to me. And I want to both read and characterize briefly something that I wrote in my book. So my chapter 2 of my book is titled Displaced Men with Welfare. And the purpose of that chapter is basically say that
See, I told y'all, folks, manosphere and suits. He got right to the point. Displacement and welfare. Don't that sound like BGS saying the black man got taken out of the home by welfare? He's just dressed up.
Keep rolling. Keep rolling, because I think, like I said, 2 minutes and 15 seconds. That's what I'm waiting on.
Alrighty. Let me shout out some of the folks down here. What's up there, Club Fortune? How you doing, good brother? El Boogie, how you doing? Good to see you as always. Shatera, it's Shatera. How you doing? Good to see you. Who else came up in this piece? Let me see. Zahara, how you doing? Great to see you as always. Anytime you folks want to hit the link and come on up and be a part of the conversation, I'll drop the link again. More than welcome, especially if no disrespect, not being a chauvinist, but this is more of you women able to give your opinion about what you're hearing. Last time I kind of hogged this show a little bit.
It was your idea, so hey, we get
actually all of it. but let's go.
the expansion of the welfare state created incentives for low-income couples, particularly African-American couples in the 1960s, to not marry before having children. Those incentives have lasted several generations, even after welfare reform in 1996. But I noticed something. There was a program in Washington, D.C. called Strong Families, Strong Futures. It was pitched as a program to help families. And when I read the mayor's description, she talked about how the program, which was a $1.5 million is the pilot project, the program would give moms more financial independence and autonomy. When the Washington Post wrote about this program in 2024, they started with the profile of a 27-year-old woman who they described as a stay-at-home mom of 3. Now, when I hear stay-at-home mom, I say, okay, the husband must be somewhere in the background, ensuring that the family has the resources that they need. But it went on to say that the husband paid for the family's 2-bedroom apartment, ensured that the children had enough to eat, and as the family went without for a little while, there was a stroke of good fortune, and that the man of the house provided an extra $10,800 to help with whatever the household needed, bills, clothes, even vacation. But what I note is that the man in this case, I characterized as Uncle Sam, because this young woman was on TANF, Temporary Aid for Needy Families, so this is what most people think of as welfare. WIC, so this is a program for women in...
And Shaw, just let me know when you need me to stop it, okay?
Well, you can, since you paused it, you can stop right there.
Okay.
He said about a minute back or so, that he said especially it was incentives for African American women. And I'm like, now if you think back in the 70s, what governmental program, what politician, what president is going to sit back and say, you know what? We need to make some just for black
just for
women.
black.
Let's see. Yeah.
And I wish I wish my man logical assessment was in here so I could shout him out at the same time. But it's not logical just to think just that way. Back in the 70s, if you were around in the 70s, if you were a young person, a teenager, or even if you were an older person in the 70s, you know what he just said was incorrect.
Right. I'm like, who makes that up? And if it, let's say, let me give him his truth. If that was true, which I can't even pretend that's not true, but if it was true, don't you think that would have been snatched away
And
immediately?
look, right on cue there. The reason why they didn't snatch it away, like Club Fortune said, they forgot that whites used the same programs back then, and basically they also forgot that's what all of these programs was created for. Because if you take it back to the '60s, you had to be then I used the word water walker to get some help from the government. From the in the 1950s, that wasn't a possibility. In the 1940s, shit, they were just recognizing this as not being colored folks. Do I need to go back farther?
Exactly. So, so since, you paused it here, I just wanted to say no, sir. That's that was not created. Come on, stop it. And then the other thing he mentioned that he had been arguing this since he was a teen. So I'm assuming that's in the 1980s.
Yeah, you would think so from looking at him.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So if you were a teen 1980s, why were you arguing about marriage? What 15, 16, 17 people is arguing about, hey,
And,
ain't nobody getting married. My,
and go ahead. Yeah, because I did a little background on him. He was saying how he grew up in the streets, and all this. No, well, that did not grow up in the streets, but he grew up pretty
mm,
much predominantly around folks his age. No disrespect, but if you hanging out with your buddies, politics ain't coming to mind, is it?
no, all that testosterone, stop it.
Yeah, we chasing. Dare I use this? We chasing skirts. And go, hey there, the real Prism. How you doing? Welcome, welcome in, welcome in. Thank you so much for tuning in. But yeah, we wasn't running around talking about politics when I was 17, 18 years old. I know they were saying who's the president. Maybe not to say that in high school they had some of those what they call it future leaders of America. I didn't join that club. Did you?
So that's what I'm saying. Who wakes up? Oh, I'm just pretending, of course, because
I
I'm
mean,
not a man. Oh, I'm hungry. Let me see what Mama cooked. Let me see what she got downstairs. If you got a two upstairs, downstairs. Let me see what Mama cooked.
tell
Yeah,
her,
let me see. Let me get the newspaper because they had
yeah.
papers back then. Let me see what's going on in politics.
Oh, Winthorpe.
Oh, you looking at is what who did the team win that you looking for or something like that. That's
Right,
not a normal type of thing. So
like
I'm gonna
Winthorpe
leave
and
that
coming,
there.
like Winthorpe and coming to America. Pork bellies. I knew it. I knew
Right,
it.
right. I
We're
don't
not
see any
doing that.
teens doing
That's
that.
right. We're not, no, not as a teenager, 15, 16, 17, 18 years old. I can understand, like someone said, when you get into the college area and you're taking taking life a little bit more seriously. But at 17, folks, I wasn't thinking about politics. At 18, I wasn't thinking about politics. No. What club is open tonight? That was heavy on my mind.
Get some money. Who got money on the gas? Who got the
Right.
car?
Who driving?
Yeah, the
Right.
party. Who dating who? How I'm
Right.
going? Can I call so and so? Those type of things is what you thought about.
We
Your
going
clothes.
right. I was about to say we're gonna go to the merry-go-round and get us some good clothes.
I mean, those are things that teens think about. So I'm not understanding what he's talking about. He was arguing this in his
As
teens.
a teen. Right, right.
That's what he
Uh,
said now. Hey.
one thing I've noticed, Sean, all of these, and I'll call them, I'll call them what I see them as. All these Yasser bosses, Uncle Toms, they all read from the same script. They might switch the words up a little bit, but if you look at it overall, they all are saying the very same thing. Black women is y'all fault.
Yeah, I don't get that. And like I said, I might have a lot of questions with things that he say. So
All right. Well, let's.
now when remember 2 minutes and 15 seconds after he mentioned what he wrote in his first chapter.
All right. So again, let me know when you need me to stop. Let me read a couple of these comments. They implemented suitable home laws to deny benefits to unmarried Black mothers, employable mothers, rules to force Black women into low-wage agricultural and domestic jobs. That's what Donald Trump said he was bringing back, right? He was bringing back them Black jobs.
Mm.
Isn't that what he said?
Yeah, he said we need our Black jobs.
Okay, let's go.
She talked about how the program, which was a $1.5 million is the pilot project, the program would give moms more financial independence and autonomy. When the Washington Post wrote about this program in 2024, they started with the profile of a 27-year-old woman who they described as a stay-at-home mom of three. Now, when I hear stay-at-home mom, I say, okay, the husband must be somewhere in the background, ensuring that the family has the resources that they need. But it went on to say that the husband paid for the family's two-bedroom apartment, ensured that the children had enough to eat, and as the family went without for a little while, there was a stroke of good fortune, and that the man of the house provided an extra $10,800 to help with whatever the household needed, bills, clothes, even vacation. But what I note is that the man in this case, I characterize as Uncle Sam, because this young woman was on TANF, Temporary Aid for Needy Families, so this is what most people think of as welfare. WIC, so that's a program for women, infants, and children. SNAP, which offers food support for low-income mothers, and then the $10,800 pilot program. And what was most noteworthy in that Post report was the fact that the word fathers was mentioned 2 times in the entire profile of these women. And I started to notice that more with programs across the country. So I could just say something really brief. There's one in Philadelphia called the Philly Job Bank. Again, guaranteed income program for moms, no mention of dads. There's one in Atlanta called In Her Hands. Again, framed as a guaranteed income initiative to help 270 women in Atlanta. And it's not that I'm against this type of support, because I think children deserve to have financial security. It's that many urban policymakers seem to take the unspoken position that when it comes to low-income families, particularly African-American families, it takes 2 for nature and only 1 for nurture. They treat men as the appendix of the family. Nice if you have one, but not particularly necessary. And as we transition to the panel, I want to show you a video from my governor, Governor Wes Moore, as he introduces the state's partnership with the Bridge Project, and see if you notice some of the themes that we've talked about so far.
I am so thankful and proud that today we are announcing this partnership with the Bridge Project, the first multi-state direct cash program for mothers and babies. And this is being fully funded by our remarkable philanthropic partners. The assistance totals $20,000 over 3 years for the family. This means cash for things that are essential. This means cash for groceries, for rent, for a car seat, for whatever that newborn is going to need in order to thrive. And in addition to the cash support, the Bridge Project will also strengthen access to benefits and financial stability resources like WIC and SNAP and virtual counseling and doula services.
Well, let me ask you, sir, do you see anything wrong with what the governor just said to help out needy families?
He say he doesn't have an issue with that. Um, Let me see. How did he say? He say he doesn't have an issue with supporting children. So he made it specific. He said supporting children,
Yes.
and
Children.
he right. So I heard that distinction that he made. So I'm gonna let him keep talking and see what he got to say about it.
Alrighty. So okay, just let me know when we get to the part that you want me to stop at.
Sure.
Every child deserves an opportunity to be able to grow and thrive. We all know that if you want to support a child, make sure that child is coming up in a strong, supportive home. Make sure that home exists in a strong, supportive community. Make sure that community has strong anchor institutions at a moment when Washington is telling mothers and their children, you're on your own. In Maryland, we are telling our mothers and our children, we leave no one behind.
So as we prepare to transition, I just want to make sure that everyone sort of fully took that in. I counted one father in that video, and it was clear to me that the governor of Westmore was by far the most prominent male in that 1 minute and 20 seconds. And did you hear what he said children need? They need a strong supportive home. They need strong supportive communities. They need access to resources like WIC and SNAP. Again, no specific mention of father. So this is the reason that I wanted to have this event, and this is the reason that I'm going to call up our panelists, our esteemed panel. First, let me make sure I get the order right. First, we will have James Jackson. James is the CEO, an author, CEO, and co-founder of Rooted in Healing, and the fatherhood director at that same institution. So, James, would you come up and join us? Yes, sir. We have Dr. Anthony B. Bradley, Distinguished Research Fellow at the Acton Institute and Research Professor at Kuyper College, and an expert on the issues of faith, family, and fatherhood. Dr. Bradley, would you join us?
Oh, nigga, please. Nigga, please.
And then we have Martin D. Brown. Martin is the former Assistant Secretary of Health and Human Resources and former Commissioner of Social Services in the state of Virginia. Martin, would you join us? Okay. All right, so looking forward to a nice, organic, uncontroversial conversation, because that's what we do at Heritage, and that's very much what I'm known for, is not generating controversy. But let's just start here. I would love to hear from each of you in terms of just your specific areas of expertise and the work that you've done around the impact and importance of fathers. So I'll just start from closest to furthest. James, can you talk a little bit
pause
about
it now
Rooted in Healing?
before James get to speaking. So when it comes down to, he mentioned that there was no mention of fathers in that 1 minute and whatever 14 seconds video. What I'm not sure what he wanted mentioned. It seemed like he wanted someone to say something about, can we have some fathers to support or something? I don't know. I'm not quite sure. But in general, you know how things are when it comes down to relationships. It don't take long to get pregnant. It doesn't.
No.
Folks are not waiting around like they used to. 3, 6 months, none of that. To get to know each other, and things happen because normally if you are going to be active, it's going to be a good maybe a good 22 days a month. So that's 22
So
chances. Go ahead.
so that 90-day rule is out the window now?
Yeah, from most. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
So so 22 times a month, um after maybe sometime within 2 months, that's 44 times. Sometimes things happen, whether it's failure to other birth control or lack of control, because sometimes that happens. So it just depends. And then maybe by month 6 or so, you realize you all don't really like each other.
Mm. And there's
You
a
just
baby on the
don't.
way.
Yeah. And maybe let's say even after the baby is born and you realize you don't like each other. So how is their marriage is going to be involved? Because the guy is really pushing this marriage thing. And uh that's what I'm pointing out. What is this? You keep saying the father. Why don't you go look for these dads? I mean, I don't know. Since you have a foundation, find the fathers. Go do that. Say, hey man, what happened? Oh
And
man, she ain't want me to use her car and she ain't let me do this and that. Let's hear their stories.
right. It seems to me they're celebrating the excuses and putting out the excuses why they think that black fathers are not in the house instead of going to talk to them directly.
I mean, I would like to hear that side instead of
Mm.
just him, but okay. Continue on. Let him introduce James and the rest of them.
Right, but again, like Club Fortune just said, for every single mom, there is a single dad. So, my question would be for any of these four gentlemen, if I was have to ask them on the panel, why are you instead of addressing them as moms as the problem, why are you not also addressing the dads as the problem? They contribute a significant role into the so-called the decline of the black family structure, as they say, as they're describing it. Am I
Well,
right?
I'm gonna say so far he hasn't said anyone is a problem. He just said he can't find these fathers. That's
Hmm.
pretty much is what he's saying. But he did use the word independence when
Where
he
he
talked about. Oh,
where
go
he
ahead.
looking at? Where he looking at?
Right, exactly. He mentioned the programs with the $10,800 and the support and all of that, and to help with independence. But I mean, you need some type of freedom, some independence. Otherwise, you're going to be working 20 hours a day, 4 hours
Hmm.
of sleep. So, what do you want? These children need some income, and there's programs for that. So, but let's just continue on. I think I'm jumping ahead. Go ahead.
Already.
The work that you've done, and specifically what you've seen in terms of the impact of fathers on the lives of their children.
Well, again, my name is James Jackson. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Rooted in Healing. We are a wellness company. And one thing that when we first took over Rooted in Healing and established it is that I had a child quickly after, and then I realized that fatherhood was important, but it was necessary. And that really made me want to really devote time, effort, and resources into fatherhood. And as I've been able to be on this fatherhood journey myself, and also this fatherhood journey in the Washington, D.C. community, I have seen the impact of fathers in families. Fathers are the backbone of families. There's a lot of good things that mothers are doing out here, but I see the difference in the child's eyes when there's a strong father in the home.
Well, maybe you haven't looked at these children in their eye when their mom's not at home, or how their children light up when they see their mom coming home from work, and they can't wait to say, "Hey, mama, how you doing? How was your day, mama? We missed you." That only happens for fathers. Sure.
It sounds as if there's some pity going on. That
It's
sounds pretty sad.
yeah, it is starting to amount up to a pity party, isn't it? But why can't we get some recognition? Father's Day, all we get is ties and socks. That's what it's starting to sound like.
Yeah, it sound like yeah, it's sounding pretty pitiful at this point. I don't, but hey, let it keep rolling.
Okay, let's go. Y'all got some tissue? Tito, give me some tissue.
And it's something that cannot be replaced. It's something that is necessary and needed. And that's something that really makes this work appear even more deeply and resonate.
Let me touch on this comment right here. Shaw, do you think ego plays? I'm paraphrasing here what L Boogie's comment. So you think ego plays a major part in a lot of these guys when they're say they're underemployed or unemployed and they sit at home, the wife is out working, ain't no food in the house, but their pride gets in the way and say, "Yeah, we need to do something."
It could be ego, could be laziness. Um, it could be a couple of things. I would say just depends on the type of man.
Yeah, yeah.
Even more deeply with myself.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We're going to get back to some of the work that you're doing with dads in DC, even within the school system, right?
Yeah.
Just helping some of those dads. Dr. Bradley, can you speak a little bit about what your research shows, what the data show in terms of the impact of a father on the life of his child or the lives of his children, and even more broadly in terms of his relationship with the child and mother? What does the data show in terms of what that relationship, the connection between that relationship and the outcomes for the children?
Yeah, thanks so much for the question, and thanks for having me here. I'm
This
happy to
guy.
be back at the Heritage Foundation. I have a book coming out. Can I plug?
Of course.
Of course. So I have a book coming out called The Fatherhood Effect. It's coming out in November. It's a collection of all the data that I've been able to find over the last 4 years. I always open when I do fatherhood events by making this statement. It is somewhat controversial, but it's true, based on what my brother just said, that fathers are the most important men in any community, anywhere, ever, period. And the data...
Your $5 ass down before I make change.
All of the negative outcomes in terms of education outcomes, juvenile delinquency, drug addiction, education outcomes, health outcomes. We're talking about diabetes, cancer, even the onset of puberty, for example.
Uh-oh. So puberty stops. Daddy in the house, no daddy in the house starts or gets decides when that puberty gonna kick in. And another thing he said, I got to go back and think for a minute. But go ahead, Shaw.
Um, no one is saying, at least I don't think, no one is saying that fathers are not important, but it really seems like they're really focusing on men being victims. Um, I do agree that there's not many programs just for men. However, if you want that, create it.
It's simple as that, isn't it? Instead of sitting up here whining about it, even my man Blackhawk, it's hard to stomach. Like I said, you hear these guys will mention that this is barbershop talk. No, they wouldn't be talking like this in no barbershop that I've ever gone to. They absolutely would not. Absolutely would not. He said something earlier, and I'll think about it. When I do think about it, I'll comment on it. But let's go.
Okay.
All correlated with fathers. And what's true is that when fathers thrive, women thrive and children thrive.
That's what I was meaning to say. So this should not be a black thing. Should be a white thing. This should be just about a family thing. But it seems to me they are slowly but surely trying to pigeonhole or saying that the problem with the black family is not so much that the black man is possibly lazy, or he is ego driven, or he's underemployed, or he just damn right just ain't worth a shit. It's got to be something about black women. I got rejected when I was in the 9th grade by a girl named Keisha. Now I'm educated, so I can talk shit about Keisha because the white man is paying me.
Say I'm in his algorithm.
Okay, I'm in his algorithm. I'm in the mix. We got the white bucks. coming through over here.
And part of the research that I've been doing over the last a few years is really making the case that what we do is dance around the issues and we sprinkle some policy dust on them and throw some cash at it. But if we really want to completely undercut and undermine the role of policing, the corrections community, we want to get rid of prisons, if we want to get rid of judges, sorry, brother, if we want to get rid of counselors and therapists, that's right, we need to really invest in fathers. Just quick data point, we know that
they're never going to get rid of prisons. You can forget that. But again, all the smoke and mirror talk that if you want to get rid of this, if you want to get rid of that, being fathers in the house, there's no direct correlation. There's no scientific evidence, folks, that says a person that was raised by a single parent, whether it be the mother or the father, is any worse off with a two-parent household. In a lot of cases, two-parent households do worse. That's just bottom line to it.
And for the sake of having a parent, both parents in the home, if that guy is hurting me, I'm out.
Why stay there? For the sake of being married, for the sake of being a statistic saying, yeah, I'm married, so let me just stay in this hell that I'm in?
Right. I'm just going to, patch my bruises up. But we a family. It's ridiculous.
Right. And exactly right, President. If they're not healthy, what kind of environment is that to raise a child in? If all the child see is chaos every day, the moms and the pops fighting, or if both parents are alcoholics, or say if one of the parents is on some kind of substance or whatever, or the mom is trying to wean the pop off substance, or vice versa, the pop is trying to wean, but in the meantime, no food, no new school clothes. School session is coming up. I wonder how many folks are donating to the local charities for underage children, underprivileged children that don't have money for school clothes.
Around 70% of all of the juveniles in the juvenile system come from fatherless homes. When you look at homelessness, right, we're talking about 60, 70% of all homeless teens come from fatherless homes.
Not true.
About 80% of men who rape out of anger come from fatherless.
And again, see, as slowly as this goes on, you see the slow thing about it's black. But that one statistic alone that he tried to slide in there, that is predominantly led by white males from the age of 18 to 35. They lead that category in SA. Don't put that on black folks. And also in the category of domestic violence. There's a couple points, but not so much. Well, ass whipping is an ass whipping. Ooh, I only got the black man whipped my ass at a 3% more clip. I don't think them folks that take ass whipping make that makes a difference to them. What about you, Shar?
Okay. That's crazy.
You mean I don't fall in that 3%? What?
That don't make any sense.
Yes, and yes, Prism, he did say it. Yes, he did.
Homes, right? And so the more that we invest in fathers, the cheaper it is for us to deal with a lot of these social pathologies and issues. And one other point we can get to later, and maybe someone in the audience can ask if we're out of time, is that what happens psycho-emotionally to a young man who's raised in a home with a single mother, and how that can actually undermine his interest in marriage in the future. So it's not that fathers are as you mentioned, an addendum. Fathers are not, by definition, an attachment. They are crucial to the thriving of children. And if we want healthy families, healthy communities, healthy societies, we really do need to invest in fathers. One last point, and this is just one data point, kind of just a little nugget. I talked about the onset of puberty. When girls feel close to their fathers, they enter into puberty later. So when a young woman says, "Oh, I was a late bloomer," I'm like, "Oh, you had a great dad." What the research shows is
Dumbest thing you could have said. What are you, an idiot?
puberty on.
I don't have nothing to say to that. I have absolutely nothing to say to that. I listen. I don't have a period. It seems that he does, because he's like he knows. So, with all due respect, Shaw and ladies, is what he said true?
I don't know any type of statistics or anything like that, but I will say you're gonna get one. So when I don't think is all that damn important.
You
How about
go,
that?
you gonna get one what? A statistic? No, I'm only kidding. Because they're gonna listen. They're gonna come up with a statistic sooner or later.
Right.
What's that called? Oh, I see. I went over to black. What is that? Black demographics, and here it is.
I mean, I don't really think anyone cares that much about us as far as how we develop. I really don't think it's that important. But what the guy is really saying that it should be some type of incentive financially. That's what I'm getting. That he's talking about this support for men/dads. So again, I said that's fine, but hey, create that, create it. That's all.
All I'm saying is, so far, to me, this just sounds like a pity party. This is the
Yeah, it
second.
does sound pitiful.
Yeah,
Yes. Mhm.
this is the third time I've had to sit through this, and each time I hear them talk, I come with the same solution. Out their nose, these niggas need a hug. They need a pat on the back and say, "It's okay. You didn't get the woman that you wanted, but there's somebody out there for you." Pam Grier done got old BGS. You let her go now. Yeah, and for all you folks out there that's still mad at what's the young lady's name from Girlfriends, Tracy Ellis Ross, y'all leave her alone. She good. She rocking that 50-year-old something body. I don't know too many of y'all would kick her out the bed for eating crackers, but y'all seem to have this crazy thing about she too old to be talking like that. She too old to be talking about her sexuality. Since when? She should have been married. She should have had some kids by now. That would have completed her life.
Wow.
Under the age of 12. Now what happens is that when they enter puberty under the age of 12, they often try to get from other men what they should get from their fathers. That gets sexualized, it leads to promiscuity, it also leads to a teenage pregnancy as well. For boys, if they're close to their dads, they will go into puberty much earlier. If they're not close to their dads, they will go into puberty later. Fathers have a fantastic role in
Any scientific evidence to that at all, sir?
So what do you want? Make puberty great again or something? This is gonna be his mantra. I mean, sir, come on. No one is caring about that.
This is, like I said, manosphere in suits. That's all these folks are. The same shit that you're hearing right here, folks, you could hear on your daily upload or daily peek in of a manosphere content creator. They say the same things, but they're not talking over each other. These folks have decorum. I'll give them that.
Setting a fire under his masculinity, he begins to know that he matters. So he wants to go do something really important.
But I hate to interrupt it again, but if a woman was to come up and say, look here, y'all daddies teach y'all to be womanizers, they'd be jumping all over you right now, wouldn't they, Shaw?
Yes.
But he just said that for himself, didn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know about you fellas, but I know when I hit puberty, you ain't nothing but a hound dog.
I'm telling you, that testosterone is a hell of a drug.
It's a hell of a drug. I'm here to tell you like this right now. You know, when you're 14, 15, don't want to sound blunt, but you got to sometimes you got to get your point across. Morning wood is a mug. Okay.
Without a dad, he's timid, he's withdrawn, and often unable to control his impulses.
Yeah.
And fathers have a crucial role to play in both delayed gratification and the control of impulsivity. So we can just really obliterate a lot of things by focusing and building up dads.
Yeah, we're definitely going to come back to some of these themes.
No need to.
Just
No need
given
to.
your experience, particularly in state government, can you talk a little bit about the dad difference and what you've seen both anecdotally and even through some of the research that the state of Virginia did in terms of the impact of fathers on their households?
Sure. So, first of all, thank you for having me. Thank you, Dr. Bradley, for your insights. What's fascinating is when you see ideas turn into action, you see change, you see lives change, you see the community prosper, you see the states prosper. And in Virginia, I actually started working with fathers in 1993. 1994, George Allen was governor and wanted to reform welfare. In the process, he hired a woman named Kay James, who was Secretary of Health and Resources, to begin a welfare experiment in Virginia that eventually became a foundation for PROWORA, which was the National Welfare Reform Initiative that came about in 1995. Some of the things, there were work requirements, there were issues related to reducing unmarried births, increasing father involvement, increasing two-parent households, and the goal, again, for the state of Virginia at that time.
Reducing the amount of births, creating two-family households. It's kind of an oxymoron, isn't it? The incentive is to get married, to have children, but then you complain about when they have them. Or is it just don't have a baby if you ain't married? You don't own your body, your husband does. That's what I'm picking up. What about you, Sean?
You know, I would even go for it if that's what you want to say. You know what? There's too many children we're having, and we're not having them in families. We need to do something to teach people to abstain from sexual experiences until later. I would even go with you if you with that. Now, I know it ain't gonna work, but
Right,
I'm
right,
still with you
right.
that you're willing to say, "Hey, put that chastity belt on."
Because people gonna do the horizontal bop. I don't give a damn. They're gonna
Turn
do
that
it.
cold water on. Take a cold shower. I'm
Uh,
with you if that's what you want, because I want to just
uh,
sit back and see how that's gonna work.
that cold shower don't work.
That's why I'm
Um,
like, I'm willing to sit back and see how that will work.
all that do is cause all a cold shower do is cause shrinkage until you get out of it.
And the body warm back up.
Right
Whoa,
back
watch
up.
out.
Look at that over there.
But yeah, it would be nice to go in that direction than just to say, "Hey, women, black women in
It's
particular," because that's what he's talking about. Hey, black women,
yes.
get married. That's not going to solve none of these men's issues on this panel. But continue
N-
on.
n- No, and you're absolutely right. It's not going because you got married. That's not going to make you a better man. If you ain't a piece of shit, you're a piece of shit. Whether you're married or you just happen to be married. If you're a man that beat your wife, you single or not.
Right,
How's that? How's Go ahead.
and if we were to go ahead and pull out all the news clips of the husbands that are getting rid of their wives, I would love for him to explain that because I really would like to know why men do that. Why do
Yeah.
they get rid of their wife instead of just a divorce, move out of town or whatever?
When you mean get rid of, you mean on a permanent basis?
Yes.
Oof. Welcome to the show. There are gains. Our black numbers are down, and that's universal all around. Every ethnic group birth rates are quite low. Yeah, our birth rate is not keeping up with our death rate, and also in the white community, their birth rate is not keeping up with their death rate. And they're more actually, if you look at it, they like to use this per capita thing from time to time, so I'll use it per capita. They're on the it's affecting them more. It really is because you can't have it both ways. You can't say that black women are leading the country and single mamas, and then say that birth rates are down.
Right. Which one is it?
Which one is it?
was to not just provide a handout, but to so
Sorry, folks, we got a little borging going on, but we're trying. Yeah, got some borging going on, a little breakup, little internet thing. It happens from time to time, so do forgive us. Let me see if I can share my screen while we wait to Mr. Music returns. Okay. I know it's a little small, but earlier when the guy was doing his introduction, he was saying that the programs were specifically created, incentivized, all that stuff he said, for people to have children without getting married. So I asked Google, and Google said, "What? Oh no, there was no welfare programs that were explicitly created for the purpose of encouraging people to have children before getting married. Of course, they were not." So again, why I don't know why they go use that terminology because it's always were for the children in the first place. That's and I remember. Let me see. I would have to do the research. I forgot, but there is a time where you can actually. Um, I don't even think it was in this country. Children were. I think this was before school, before kids were in school. I can't remember the historical information, but it was something where they created where kids can be in school, because at one time kids were just out in the street. They had no place to go. They were not fed. There was no money. So I don't know. I have to go back and find that information. But I always say do not believe what you hear with these people. Look up the information yourself, regardless of who's telling it to you.
Absolutely. They must have got mad at me. Delano's and the crew must have said, "Yeah, get him out of here." They got a little upset with me. So continue there, Shard. Let me go and pull up the video back again because when I leave the studio, it wiped it out. So I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. All right. So I was just talking about there were no specific programs that just said, you know what? I think what we want to do, we want black women
For human
to not have
flourishing.
any men.
Oh,
Okay, you got it?
Let me pause it right there and let me see if I can move it to where we were at. I think we already
Okay.
got past that. Yes, boss. We're on him, right?
Yeah, we're at the
Yeah.
end of him.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
I think it was 3 or 4 years. It was amazing.
Wow.
At the same time, you've got other forces because you not only are trying to do things at a state level, but you also have federal incentives and you have federal programs. So you have new governors that come in.
Yeah, actually, there are gains. Yes, all four of these gentlemen are connected with the Heritage Foundation, and that's one of the major problems that I'm having with this. Because if you look at Project 2025, soon to be Project 2026, all of these men have either directly or are still connected with the Heritage Foundation at some point in time. All four of them, yes.
And so if anyone ever tells you that not to project or to legislate morality, that is a canard. That is, they're simply trying to legislate their morality. The reality is every policy issue has a moral underpinning to it. Yeah. And the question is, what moral underpinning will it have?
The moral underpinning is simply this: are you willing, because of your policies that you make, are you willing to strip children from programs that would feed them at school, that would give them money to a single mother or a single father, to make sure that they have the comforts of just eating a square balanced meal? So where are your morals lying? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Sure.
And these be the ones that talking about how they so active in the community in their local church.
Yeah. Okay. They'll stand out there and say, "Look, we're giving away some free food this week," but that's the only time you see them for a photo opportunity.
Right.
Let's go.
Yeah. The moral underpinnings that are foundational, that are intrinsic, that are eternal, are the ones that last and stand the test of time. And those are the ones like stable families, marriage, fatherhood, and the like. Other went on to become obviously Commissioner of Social Services, and when that happened, we tried to adopt the TANF model and put it into all of the other programs within social services. I mean, if it works here, why not try it in child welfare? Why not in child support enforcement? Why not try to kind of support the family unit or strengthen Virginia's families by creating a practice model where families are the ultimate. When you look at social policy, either the child or the mom is the recipient and not the family. And so we changed the model from the child being the recipient of the government's protection.
Well, I can tell you with somebody that we all know that will throw a wrench in what you just said. His name is JP for president. There's another one that we all know. His name is Beans. Both them niggas on welfare. Both them niggas collect a check. And as Prism said earlier, you know, if you listen to this guy and listen to his undertones, and what he's really saying is he's a proponent of these so-called DEI programs, these incentive programs like Back to Work, saying that, you know, that these women are not qualified for these programs. The government's only putting them, yeah, they're putting them in these low-income programs. You know, go to work at McDonald's for 8 hours a day, making what's minimum wage, $7.35.
And it's probably not even full time because you have too many children. You know, they pay.
That's a
They,
competitive
come in
market.
after school, right?
That's
So,
right.
mhm.
Right. That's a competitive market. You're talking about a 40-year-old man, a 40-year-old woman competing with a teenager for a summer job. No disrespect. Not saying that's not management positions and stuff like that, but when we think McDonald's, we don't think that's something where a grown man should be working at. What about you, Shar?
Yeah, because just in general, they're gonna feel some kind of way eventually.
Yeah.
And what I've always noticed, it seemed like the positions that handle cash money, people are paid the least amount of money.
Yeah. I hate to say it, but it's almost an incentive to ring the till. Don't put that 10 in there.
Right. So why are you surprised somebody taking some from you?
Okay. All right. Let's go.
Or the mom being the recipient of the government's largesse to the family unit. And by changing that outcome or that goal, you're going to change the outcomes. And so we focus on that as well.
So it's important. One of the things that you bring up is the impact of public policy. And one of the things I write about in the book, particularly in the 1960s when you had, welfare reform, welfare expansion, you had a set of policy incentives for adults, low-income men and women, to not marry. You also had at the same time a push by some programs, I'm thinking of like the National Welfare Rights Organization, to see poverty as more of a women's issue, right? So poverty was feminized and racialized in the 1960s, right? The black poverty rate in 1959 was about 55%. So I could understand why some organizations would say, we should benefit from some of these programs especially because we've been discriminated against in AFDC in previous decades. But one of the dynamics that it created, and I think I heard you sort of allude to this, Martin, is that it displaced men from their rightful role as providers in the home.
Yeah.
And it brought the government in to play the role of substitute father.
So,
and created,
again, Delano and the dudes on the panel here. So if you, as a grown man, you want to be the provider and the protector, and you take a job that you know is not beneficial to your family, whose fault is that? Shouldn't you want to do better? Why would you, as a grown man, be content? And I'm just using McDonald's or a low-paying wage job. Why would you be content of knowing that when you go out and work for a 2 weeks pay or a week pay, that it's not going to be enough to pay your rent, or it's not going to be enough? You're healthy. You don't have a police record. You don't have nothing stopping you from getting an education. Because let's face it, sometimes that diploma or that college degree puts you in a different pay scale. So why don't you do better? Why aren't you asking these men, why aren't they doing better? Is that a fair question, Shar?
It is. And what I'm doing, I'm going to say, I want to know how are they being replaced? How was the money being replaced? Because I just picked like I think I picked $8 an hour. So let's say this person works and they get about $1,200 a month working full time, the lowest wage. The government is not giving you $1,200. So that $1,200 is representing this man. So how is the woman swapping the man for less than $1,200? Because they're not giving you that. They're giving you maybe a few hundred. They're giving you some food stamps, but they're not giving you that much. They have a particular amount they're going to give you. So what person says, you know what, you giving me, well, I don't know, let's say $500. You give me $500 a month. But James over there, he makes $1,200 a month. And you know what? I don't want him anymore. I'm just going to take your 500. Yeah, that sounds good. I'm not going to see him anymore. And I'm going to move on to the next man because she's not going to stop seeing anybody. She's going to move on to the next man. So what are you talking about? How are you saying this amount of money, what they give you from the government, is replacing a man? I don't understand that.
That's not a man. If listen, it comes to what they're talking about. It amounts up to $6 a day. Can anybody tell me that you can live on comfortably on $6 a day?
You cannot. And that's why I'm like, the government is not giving you that much. So how are you saying it's an incentive? Because they keep you throwing these words out. Incentives, incentivize, incentives. No, there's no incentives at all. You just get the bare minimum to say you got something to eat. Get you some peas, some dry peas, and cook that for your family.
Yeah, but from what we've heard so far, it's all right to curtail some of these programs and to prevent some of this waste, fraud, and abuse. We're gonna have to cut some of these programs. Somebody get rid of some of these subsidized, to incentivize marriage, to incentivize women not to have babies out of wedlock. So it seems to me that their idea is a sort to fix things is punishment, not
Right, starvation. Just
right, right,
starve.
right, right. I didn't want to put it like that, but that's what it boils down to, right?
That's what, now, yeah, that is exactly what it's sounding like. Because I can tell you
Hmm.
one thing: people are not going to stop being intimate. You see that in other countries, all these different children. That part of nature just not going to stop. Sorry.
Right, right, right. Let's continue here.
I say this in the book. I characterize it as an iron triangle with low-income moms who benefited from the resources coming from the government, elected officials who benefited from a baked-in voter base. You said, vote for me and I'll provide more of these programs, and unelected bureaucrats who manage the poverty economy. These are the statisticians, these are the case managers. All of them have something to gain in that triangle, but no.
And every once in a while they'll throw in this unelected bureaucrats or unelected. That is the Heritage Foundation in a nutshell. They are unelected people running the country. That is the Heritage Foundation. Undereducated, unelected bureaucrats. That's bottom line.
Prism, I'm going to say what your dad is saying there, and that's coming from a man that he's ashamed of these men.
Okay, Prism, I'm with your daddy on that because I of course sometimes I'll be in the clouds and I'll hear some of these folks on the Angry Man or Fatty or even Sharon's channel sometime, and I heard one guy one day saying my daddy still owe me child support. What in the holy fuck was that about?
And since the word child support is up, I'm going to mention that now child support is not a lot. I've had someone come on my panel before, and I asked them specifically, and they could not give me a number. So I'm just going to throw a number out there: $500 a month. Okay, we know with research that you don't get that much. The women are not receiving that amount. Now, I will say men are probably charged $500 and the women are probably getting 200 because the program, the state itself is keeping the other. But that sounds like something that need to be talked about or need to be fought.
Legislated. It's not a discussion for a panel. And now that you mention that, there was a guy on a panel one time that was screaming at the top of his lungs how the state and the government was doing him so wrong because he had to pay 500. No, I'm sorry, not even 500. It was $324 a month, $325 a month in child support for 4 children.
Four? Oh, wow. That's all for 4 children?
Right, and they broke it down so he was actually giving up like what was it, $23 a month, something like that a week for the for each child. But he was complaining about that. Does the child support system has flaws? But
Yes.
unfortunately, the good got to suffer with the bad. Not all, not every person that's separated or that are not the custodial parents are not deadbeat dads. But unfortunately, sometimes You know, it's the state that say, hey, if this woman needs some kind of assistance, we're gonna get the daddy, we're gonna get him. We need that money from you, because instead of you taking care, we got to force you to take care of your children. So they just lumped all these folks in one big, as they say, as my man Cerulean Gray used to say, trick bag.
Mm-hmm.
It is
Yeah.
what it is. The good got to suffer with the bad with that, folks. There's no way around that.
Wow.
As I said, it's a triangle, not a square, because the one person who's sort of left out of that environment is the dad, and I think you see that in the video that we showed. So my question is it possible today to break that triangle, and specifically, particularly in low-income communities where a culture of marriage has not existed for decades, is it possible to sow seeds of marriage and strong families in environments where the ground is rocky? And what would that actually look like and sound like? Whoever wants to jump in first on that one.
I listen. I didn't even hear a word he said. I got to be
Because it wasn't true.
Right.
And it's hard to follow something that isn't
That's
true.
not true, because it scatters your brain, doesn't it, Shore?
Yeah, because you can't follow something that isn't true.
Right. You absolutely cannot. And I thought it was just me, but I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? Then I lost train of thought, and because of what El Boogie said, that made more sense. Don't forget, 76% of women that receive child support are employed. Don't forget that, folks, because that's a fact.
Yeah, I remember back. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go right ahead. Ladies first.
I was going to say, I remember back in 2018, when Cerulean was talking about, people, well, I've heard it before, but I remember he was speaking about people are working and getting food stamps. Now, see, back when I was younger, that was not heard of. You couldn't get both. So, things have changed along the years. So I'm like, for real? And then I start seeing little things on the news or, clips about people working at Walmart and they were receiving food stamps. I'm like, wow, really? So it,
They unfortunately, they have a term for them. They call them the working poor.
and that's where we are. So if the woman is working poor, the man is working poor and or not working, it's just not going to work. I mean, that's a tough relationship. It really is. It is hard.
Absolutely, it is, and you bring up this point, and I always like to bring this up. So you heard me say it before. When these people are always talking about single parents or can't raise productive children. So I'll say this to all you folks that are married, and both the parents have jobs, right? Sure. Help me out with this.
Okay.
What's the average time the most people go to work?
9 to 5.
9 to 5, right. They made a movie about it. But if you have school-age children, what time do they go to school?
8 to 3, something like that.
Right, round in there. So with that being two single parents, both of y'all got a job, kids are in school. How much time is the family y'all spending together so far? From 7 o'clock in the morning on?
You see that child, you pick them up in the evening.
Okay, school is over. School gets out about 3 o'clock, right? 3-4 o'clock. The parents get off work 9 to 5, right?
Right.
Kids come home. What's the first thing kid do when he come
home? He's going to eat and do his homework.
Do his homework, and then possibly watch some TV or whatever. How much family time is really involved in that? Not unless you have a set routine where the parents sit down and have dinner ready when they come home or whatever. How much time are they spending with the moms and the pops? They ain't got home from work yet. It ain't 5 o'clock
yet. Yeah, somebody not. They're gonna have to be babysat a lot of times until 6 p.m. That's when they picked up from daycare, stuff like that. Or as you say, the mom, dad, whoever walks in the house, it's probably 6 o'clock. So
6, right. And they leaving. They're not, if they got to be to work at 9 o'clock. If you live in Atlanta, you got to leave work. You leave your house at least an hour and a half ahead because of traffic. So you leaving the house technically about the same time the children are. So when are y'all seeing each other?
They call it in passing, but only time you're really gonna get some, I guess, quality time. You're gonna talk when they bathing, um, the weekend, but it's not a whole lot after that because still people ain't getting too much than 2 weeks of vacation, and a lot of time they're using that time when they're sick because a lot of companies don't have sick time anymore. They took that
Right,
away.
right. I'm with Zahara here. I saw my parents at night when they got off work, for maybe 30, 45 minutes. Hey, did you do your homework? Did you get your chores done? What's going on with you in your life? Excuse me. And my parents went on, did what they're doing, watching the evening news or whatever, cook dinner or whatever. You weren't in the kitchen when mom was cooking dinner. Get your ass out this kitchen.
Then don't let them have something else. They got church or something else they do.
Okay.
So
Bible
again,
study. Bible study.
yeah, they really was in church, years ago. So yeah.
All right. So again, for all these folks that be trying to, and I'll use it delicately, shit on single parents, y'all ain't got really nothing to talk about, do you? You spend just as much time in a two-parent household as you do with a single parent because everybody working, everybody going to school.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the difference? I'm just saying.
You talking in the car, you talking by text when you get a chance on your lunch break.
Right, right, right. And listen, let me tell you something. When I go to work, if it's not me at that front door, don't you open it for anybody. Matter of fact, act like you ain't here. Am I wrong?
Not at all.
Let's go.
Okay, go ahead, James.
I was going to say, maybe we should incentivize marriage. And when it comes to filling out taxes, when I became married, it was cheaper to file separately. And sorry, not cheaper. Cheaper is not the word. That I received more money back if we filed separately as a family. But once we filed jointly, then I noticed that, there's not a comma in my tax return. So, yeah, so I was thoroughly confused. And I've been doing my taxes ever since I was in college. So,
Dun, 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 dun. Baby, on our wedding night, I got to tell you, the reason why we really got married because I got tired of not getting I got tired of not seeing that comma in my income tax return. I couldn't take it no more. I'm not gonna do it. I love you like that. I love that money.
You know how silly it sounds because if you are complaining about women with children getting incentives, because that's what they call it, even though it's welfare and all of that. Now you got your hand out, you want something. Just go ahead and say you want some money.
I want
Okay,
my
got you.
just say it. And just instead of beating around the bush, just go ahead and say it. I want the same thing these women's is getting.
Can I get something?
Can I
Yeah.
get some too? Why
Boo
they get
hoo, Shane. I want something too.
right? You get your woman and when you get your woman, my man, make sure she tell you never wear a orange tie with a black shirt. You look like Scarecrow and Mrs. King up there.
I was very confused when it came to that. So something that I've noticed is that if we can incentivize marriage, that would give people more incentives to become married, but also to stay married, along with incentivization of marriage. If you've been married for 5 years versus married for 2 years, I believe that the government or the IRS should reward that.
I can't stand your ass. I hate you. I really do. I dislike you with a passion. But for that money that we gonna get at the end of the year,
we gonna stay together.
We gonna stay. Al Green playing in the background. Keith Sweat, make it last forever until we get that check.
I mean, This is crazy. This is crazy. Yeah, but you know what we're hearing is actually the truth now. This is just where the all that other stuff was fluff. This is the meat and potatoes. Give me some money for being married. That's all. Give me some money.
Manosphere niggas in suits. That's what they are. We're getting down to the nitty gritty of it now. It's all about the money. I'm gonna marry you to get that big tax incentive. Marriage is as they say, a merger. You know, a business venture. And if you ain't hitting it on them taxes, if I ain't getting enough back, I'm gonna have to trade you out.
This is crazy.
Let's go, folks.
If you have a 30-year-long marriage, like, let's go. We should reward that, because at the end of the day, when you're in your 50s, these are supposed to be the prime moments of your life. These are supposed to be the happiest moments of your life. We should be rewarded with that. Mm-hmm. So I believe that there's different things that we need to do. And also, I don't believe that we should fund distress, if that makes sense. If there's distress in the
Who the fuck?
What? Say what? Fool,
Don't,
what?
Defund the police, but don't fund.
What is he talking about? But this is the age group. He's at that right at that 40 mark.
Yeah, so he said instead of them 20 from 25 to 28 being your best, most productive years, 50 it should be it. That's when you should be having your most fun, at 50. Yeah, maybe if you can retire early and if you made money like that.
And let me ask you something, because you know, you're a man. Now, this may change a little bit because of age. So I do understand if your answer may be two different things.
Sure.
Being 21 is considered an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be something that you would be excited about reaching so you can marry someone?
No.
Right. So that's what I'm confused on, but I'll let him keep talking.
No, not at all. Not at all. Let me put this up here right quickly. And let's welcome Club Fortune to the stage. Hey there, Club Fortune. How you doing, my man? Good to meet you.
Hello.
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Doing great, my guy. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Oh man, I can't believe what I just heard.
Go right ahead, sir.
You want to be incentivized in marriage, even though marriage has its own incentives.
But wait, Club. I know you know Angry Man, but I heard Angry Man and Sharon arguing that there's no incentivization to be married other than the financial aspects of it.
Well, that's a load of crap. That's because if you don't live in the internet land, ladies and gentlemen, I've seen perks of marriage, and with those guys, and and the gender war clowns as a whole collective, they love to create cheap arguments that can easily be debunked in the real world. Just like how the man says there's no tax incentives for people getting married. That's a lie.
Yeah.
In my brief time as a dutiful slave to TurboTax,
you'll get somebody will come up here or on another platform and give you pushback, even though they just heard you say you worked with TurboTax. They'll tell you, no, that ain't right. You don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
I've literally worked help guide people through software, and even seen tax returns where people got a whole lot more. And not to drop any names or anything, but I knew someone who made $12,000 $12,000 as a couple on a tax return because of the kids and some of the additional tax benefits. But another thing that I also noticed too is that with married couples, I've seen married couples have a whole lot more in investments.
Yes.
You've seen where I saw a husband, he had 2 401ks and the wife had one. Or even Char Willie's favorite word, pensions. I've seen both married couples have pensions.
Hey.
These are the conversations that most of these people do not have.
Right.
And the fact that that MBAN it's no longer MNIC. It's Manosphere BANs NC.
It's easier to come up with so many creative names for these folks, isn't it? They do it to themselves, don't they?
It really is.
They do it to themselves. Let's continue here, folks.
Community. We shouldn't just throw money at distress in the community. We should throw money in areas where we're promoting a good, where we're promoting things like marriage, where we're promoting things like strong families. So these are some of the things that I think that if we do that, it will actually kind of change the tide.
So if I want to make sure I'm hearing. So for any policymakers who may be watching, and these are relatively low cost, low risk tweaks to the system. At least one of them, and I think this is a really good one. A mayor or a governor could have proclamations that go out to couples who live in their jurisdiction for being married 5, 10, 20, 30, 50, 70 years. And with those proclamations could come some set of incentives, financial reward, that type of thing. I think that.
Short.
I'm just.
Listen, I know you're not. I know you're not married. I'm divorced. What you say? we tired of not jump the broom and get some of these incentives.
And see, how do they think it's going to be enough? Because again, if a woman with a child only gets so many hundreds of dollars, it's just a few. What do you think? Because you're married, they're going to hand you. Why? Why would they do that? And how much do you think you're going to get?
It's the incentivization to do nothing. Incentivized to get married because what's the key word that they have not used? They're talking about fathers. So since they like keying in on words that's not being used, they keyed in on fathers. Have you heard any of these gentlemen marry the woman that you love?
Not so far.
Not at all. Not at all.
Let's go. Maybe they'll say it.
That is a relatively low cost, low risk way to begin planting some of those seeds of a marriage culture, particularly in places where one hasn't existed. Any other ideas?
Yeah, there are a bunch. I mean, when you think of the destruction of the family and what's happened in my community, in my Black, in the community that I live in, that I cared most about, I think of not just my family members, I think of my cousins, I think of, it's gotta be a full-on assault from not just government, but the cultural changes. There has to be literally a war to strengthen marriage and the family. And it's
war on crime and war on being single. Heaven forbid that I should find somebody that she's not ready to get married. I'm not ready to get married, but we decide that we want to spend our time together. What he just said is, I can't get no incentivizations for that unless I'm married. I can't build nothing with this woman unless I marry her.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And the most ironic thing about that is that they talk about all of these things, but they haven't done the funding themselves,
Oh, say
nor
that
have
again.
they backed a politician.
Say that again. Huh.
They have not done the funding themselves or backed a politician to push some of those incentives.
That part.
That part. Absolutely. Absolutely. They have not. You know, a lot of these so-called roundtable discussions they have, I like them to them just simply circle jerks.
Yes, they are. The manosphere circle jerk.
Yeah,
They love to blame, deflect, and do the whole SBE thing, but they never.
What?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was about to say, what does that Big J say? SBE.
You niggas ain't shit.
Big J, I don't know if you're gonna ever listen to this, but that's a classic, sir.
Okay, we love it.
Starts with removing disincentives at the policy level and in creating incentives, as you mentioned, James, at the policy level, and then culturally, communicating the positive versus promoting the negative, whether that's in song or in public venues or anywhere. I mean, and so that's going to take a cultural change. I was in one of the additional things that I did was I was a special advisor to the governor for reentry, and we were.
I hate to stop it again, but let me go back to a stream like I did the other day. We were talking about BTS, and I don't think people understood. A lot of people did, but I don't think a lot of people understood why I did that particular stream, because this is what he just said. We're going to attack the music. We're going to make sure that the music is marriage friendly. We're going to make sure it incentivizes all the music that we put out, incentivizes couples. Let's get married today. Walking down the aisle, holding hands, making all kinds of plans.
Well, I don't know how that's going to be for the young folk.
Shit, spin that.
Cardi B ain't going to sing that.
Spin that shit. Work that shit. Do that
What's
shit.
her name? Megan Thee Stallion not gonna sing that. Snoop Dogg.
No. La da 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 da. It's the Snoop.
I mean, most of hip hop is not built for the marriage side. I mean, if they wanted to do a marriage realm, again, you got to do that yourself, because they have obviously. Of course, the entertainers have no incentive to do it, but a good chunk of them are not even married themselves. So,
okay. All right, the same ones that's talking about implementing these rules about being married aren't married themselves.
Yeah,
that's something.
That makes sense. Let's go.
Working with fathers in Chesterfield County Correctional Facility who were incarcerated, and they were all taking this fatherhood course. They were about to graduate. It's about 50 guys, ages say 18 to about 60. And the president, if you will, of this program stood up. He's again incarcerated guy, and he stands up and he asks the guys, "How many of you guys are fathers?" Everybody raises their hands because they're taking a fatherhood class. He said, "Okay, great. How many of you all want to be bad dads?" Nobody raised their hand. And he said, hey guys, just want y'all to know, nobody wants to be a bad dad. Everybody wants to be a good dad.
Yeah. Was that supposed to be a mic drop moment?
I guess, but it failed.
Miserably. Nobody starts out being I can't imagine no one when they find out once the significant other is pregnant, the first words out of the mouth, I think I want to be a fucked up daddy.
Right.
Not congratulations, baby. We're gonna have us a bundle of joy and we're gonna raise him right. No, not me. I want to be a fucked up daddy.
That's crazy.
I'm just saying, you got to bring some kind of humor to these
Yes.
manosphere niggas in suits. Go ahead, Clip.
I was only gonna say that's more of a Captain Obvious moment. No one wakes up and say, you know what? I'm just gonna smack my kid today.
Yeah,
Be a
yeah,
bad dad.
yeah. I'm gonna be a bad dad or a bad mama today. Yep, that's my goal. That's my initiative, to be a bad dad. Mm, mm, mm. But these, hey, listen, as they say over there, over in the manosphere, these guys are dropping some jewels today.
Mm.
More like cubic zirconium, but you know.
Right.
Right. I like it.
Or back in when back in the days of the mall, when you go to the mall and they got that gold chain on a spool. Santo gold. You pay $5 by the inch.
Right.
Internal, it's intrinsic, it's something that is an innate. How do we help that person who is a bad dad, who has actually made bad decisions, has made difficult and wrong choices?
Well, he already in jail.
He did make bad choices.
Right, he made bad choices. Now he's being punished for it. Now, do we do and send him to rehab? I say no.
Okay.
He did the crime. Let him pay the time. All right. I'm just saying. He made the conscious choice to be a bad dad. Did he not?
Yeah, he wasn't thinking about being a dad.
Right. Self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm just saying.
Is to even model bad decisions. How do we help them to even become better dads? Well, we can start with training, with providing supports, with peer mentoring, with a number of, it's what James is already doing, with counseling and peer supports. And so it's not just telling a person, okay, we've given you the freedom to do it, now go and do it. Well, what's the next step? What's the first step? Well, I've never been a dad. I've never had a dad to even know what the next step is. Yeah. Well, how can I help you do that? And so,
you got no uncles? You guys don't start no mentorship programs? When I lived in California, I went to the Boys and Girls Club and found what they call it, the Big Brother program. I didn't happen to know the woman. There was just a young man there. His name was Aaron. Aaron. No, his name was Aaron. But every Friday I would go and meet Aaron over at the Boys and Girls Club. We'd either go to some cultural event, take him down to Fisherman's Wharf, or go to visit Alcatraz, or some historical something. Try to give the young man some culture. I found out that he was pretty good at a particular sport, so I used to take him to the batting cage. What he did with his life after a certain age, I don't know, but at least I'm comfortable with the idea. I put some kind of instills with him and didn't have to sleep with his mama to do it.
You ain't get incentivized?
No, I didn't get none. I didn't get none.
Oh,
do they not have friends?
Right, I'm a simp. You
right,
mean to tell
Russell,
me?
Russell, what's his name? Whatever his name is.
Russell Wilson. Yeah.
Yeah.
You gonna help raise some other crumb snatcher? You had nothing better to do with your time. They go into Boys and Girls Club and find some underprivileged little niglet. And you ain't getting no cooch on top of that, man. Let's go.
Again, one of the other things we did in Virginia was in every institution, every correctional institution in Virginia, their guys are taught the Inside Out Dad program, which is a fatherhood program by the National Fatherhood Initiative. And the goal is that as they're transitioning and reentering society, they're not only returning to a job or returning to a community with a house and so on, but they're...
Well, let me ask you, why is it okay for y'all to give all these incentivized programs to a jailbird, but not to a mother that's out there struggling with her children? Anybody got an answer for that? Anybody?
Because they want their hand out. They want you to put some money in it.
You know, Sharp, go ahead, Cliff.
Go ahead.
You know, Sharp, way back when we first started this this YouTube channel of mine, you had made a statement. I think the men are jealous of the women. And I said, no, Sharp, I don't think that's it. Remember that conversation we had?
Yes.
Boy, was I wrong. Boy, was I wrong. They want to be men, but they want the same things. They want to be treated like women.
Bingo. They want to be pampered.
Yes.
Pampered males.
Yes. Right. Go to the salon for that. Go get you a manicure and a pedicure. Right, Mr. Stretch. Welcome. And he's absolutely right. Those jobs that they be talking about, they incentivize. Believe me, Big Brother got his hand in the pot. If they paying an inmate or a recently released inmate $10 an hour, you can believe they got $25 for them.
Yeah, they're getting a part of that. Yeah.
And just real quickly, and on top of that, on top of not only having uncles, but don't you have male friends that are fathers too?
Okay. Damn, ain't nobody got a daddy around you? Nobody?
Yeah, but I'll go ahead and drop off the panel. Thank you for having me on, Mr. Music, and also it's great to meet you, Charlie. I'll be in the chat.
Man, it's a pleasure. Welcome. Anytime you want to hit the link, Club Fortune, be welcome to, my man. Appreciate the support, good brother.
Thank you so much.
Shout out to you. But yeah, again, why is it okay to give these guys? Obviously, they're in jail, so they went through the legal system, got tried and convicted, and there's nothing wrong with rehabilitation. But it sounds to me like let's take these programs away from these mothers and these children and give it to these guys because they made a mistake in their lives. That's what it sounds like to me. Don't it sound like that to you?
Yes, because I really haven't heard where they want to create one, and they're just speaking to the general public. So, yeah.
And again, El Booker, I love your comments that you'll be putting out from time to time. She says, so the men don't know how to be responsible. Bingo. I shouldn't have to read anything past that. But for the laymen's out there, they present healthy human beings on their own. No one had to teach me to be a loving human being. Yes, it was nurtured. It was nurtured in me, but that's in my core. Absolutely right. You can't teach someone to be a good human being. It comes naturally. Your parents can give you some incentive on how to treat people and why to treat people, who to stay away from, and who to connect with. But that instance of it has to come from you. Isn't that right there, logical assessment? How you doing, good brother? Great to see you. Let's see. The criminals are victims. The victims appear to be irrelevant. Thank you very much. The criminals are the victims, is what he's saying. And think of it that way, but he's right.
Okay.
You're right. Logical. Again, that's why I'm glad you chose that name. That's a logical assessment, isn't it, Sure?
It is.
Returning to relationship.
Yes.
Which is far more important than just the financial or the
returning to relationship. What?
Okay, what are you talking about?
Hey, Sure. I just did a 17-year bid. Can I come to your house? Can I stay? Can I stay with you?
No, you're gonna be around my kids.
Listen, but we've been pen pals that whole time I was in jail. I told them this was the address that I was coming to.
Yeah, right. And that's the other thing I want to quickly say, that a lot of times when they do get out, they're going to a woman's house, and sometimes maybe those women have benefits. So
shade
is
tree
it really
nigga.
that bad?
Shade tree nigga. Looking for a place to lay his head. Life after lockup. That's all I'm saying.
The structural benefits. It's that relationship. So how do we reconnect? How do we rebuild that family bridge with training, supports, and so on?
Dr. Bradley, same question. Let me just add a little bit, because there seems to be at times a tension, and I'll describe it this way. I've seen organizations that will have programs for moms and babies here, and then they'll have a separate program for dads here. Now, the program for dad almost always has to include some element dealing with the relationship between dad and mom, because they know that if dad wants to see baby, he has to have at least a cordial relationship with mom. In my experience, the programs for moms often do not deal with the relationship with dad, because mom already has, primary or full custody of the children. So my question to you again is, as you answered the previous question, how do you sow seeds of marriage and stronger family in an environment where sometimes those relationships between mom and dad have broken down, and in a programmatic environment where policymakers and program designers keep the family separated and not as a unified whole?
I don't care whether you like her or not. We're going to incentivize y'all to stay together. That's what I heard.
Wow. That sounds like a reality show. You just hooking people up,
Right.
blind dates and all that.
Right. Let's see how it works. Up next on Let's See How This Shit Gonna Work, we got narrated by Delano Squires. He's a prominent member of the Heritage Foundation, and we all know that the Heritage Foundation is strongly incentivized in the black nurturing of children and strong family values. Meanwhile, that backhand, what was Ruby saying? That backhanded compliment. Y'all can do better, but
okay.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think part of the problem is that we approach these things in a technocratic kind of way, right? We have these variables, we run through an algorithm, and then we'll get this outcome. I'm not convinced that policy is going to be the driver. I'm convinced that policy tails what's happening culturally. I think what really matters is that we make marriage cool again. Make marriage great again, but make marriage aspirational, right? It needs to be embedded in the music. I want marriage to be.
In no black barbershop, that would have been funny. Nigga, what did you just say? Are you in here making a reference to MAGA in front of me? My ass. No, you got to go. You got to go. As in the famous words of Little John, bye, nigga.
As popular as Sexy Red.
Right.
Three of you know what I'm talking about, right? I want marriage to be celebrated in the music, in the culture products, right? Music, film, on social media. We want to see people celebrating marriage on TikTok and Snapchat and Instagram, right?
Yeah.
So I'll give you a quick story. So I was serving a church in Harlem at 128th Street and 8th Avenue, 2 blocks away from the Apollo Theater.
Is this gonna be one of those AB stories where the Klan gonna show up and bring them turkeys? Show up?
Okay, brought his grandmother.
You remember that nigga had the nerve to get on a platform and say that.
Yeah, he was proud. He said that's what he remembered. He say,
Lord have mercy.
It was a very, very traditional black church, and a church full of single moms. And there was a lad, he's in 10th grade, and there was a 19-year-old who came in pregnant, and all the women celebrating, and I grabbed him by the collar and I whispered in his ear and I said, "You're not doing this." I said, "You're going to get married first before you have children." And he looked at me straight face and said, "Is that a thing?" Now, why did he say that? He's not seen it, right? Where?
Now, I want y'all to notice the setting that he put y'all in.
Mm-hmm.
A
Yeah.
church.
Right.
You cut the house of worship, but you're going to snatch somebody up. I think that's the most time that just about everybody's a little cordial. Church.
Yeah.
And in church, I think just about all the churches that I've been to, I could be wrong about this, but black churches really promote black family and black unity. A lot of them.
Yeah. They do. They tell that 50-year-old woman, you just keep praying, baby.
Right,
God's
right,
gonna send you somebody.
right. But who impregnated the 19-year-old?
Right.
Right. Was it pastor?
Where is it that some young men in some communities, especially if they're not adjacent to middle class communities, they just don't see it?
Yeah.
And so, what can we do culturally to make marriage an aspiration? Just like the aspiration of getting a job, just like the aspiration of getting a house. It's not just having kids as an aspiration, leaving a legacy. It's barbershop talk. It's your legacy. What about the legacy?
No, your kids are not your legacy. See, again, these dumbasses, they think they be saying these things. Your children are not your legacy. It's the deeds and the works that you leave behind. That is your legacy. Your children create their own legacy. What's up there, Raj? Good to see you back again. That's the topic. We're talking about the Heritage Foundation and pretty much the family structure, the loss of the black family structure, to be more poignant about it.
Of loving a woman well, the legacy of setting up children for multiple generations to thrive because of your investment in them in the home with the mother, and you all doing it all together. I have this theory. I don't know if it's true, but you talk about it in the book. I call it the Cosby Show era. That was probably the sort of peak time where we saw black families thriving. You could go back to even the show Good Times. For example, the Jeffersons. I mean, they're all these.
Okay, I was waiting for that part. Now, of course, Good Times was entertaining, but Good Times, to me, my honest opinion, was making black people set up for failure. You're not gonna get out of ghetto. You're not gonna get a well-paying job. Anything that's not white is not right. Even Black Jesus. Remember when the episode that Michael tried to bring Black Jesus into the house?
Uh-huh.
Florida was out of her damn mind.
Yeah. She didn't like that at all.
Right. JJ, an aspiring painter, but he could never get out the ghetto because every time he got, dare I say, his break, somebody tried to cheat him. But why? Because they thought JJ was unintelligent. And that's how they portrayed him. Michael was the more intelligent one. And even when Thelma had a chance to get out the ghetto with a NFL football player, never said how they really met. What happened to Keith?
He was holding his leg because he got hurt, and he just cracked jokes in the house.
Right. And who was the person that hurt Keith, supposedly? JJ. Because he tripped over JJ. JJ did something.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's go to the Jeffersons. I loved it. It was entertaining. But they always placed Louise as a masculine black woman or a maid or a mammy. Am I wrong?
They did.
George.
Looking back on it, yeah.
George always chased Mr. Whitendale, the white businessman. In order for him to get better, George figured the only way that he could get better in his business was to be in cahoots with Mr. Whitendale, teaching us that in order to do better in business, you got to rub folks with the white man. Anybody give me a pushback?
That's what I recall.
Even when the interracial couple was involved in and placed into the story, because it meant that way in the beginning. That was Norman Lear's idea. They were the butt of jokes. Zebra.
Oh yeah.
Exactly, logical. Archie Bunker could never do better. He was always waiting for the plant to either close on, or they were going to go on strike or something like that. Those were the shows that were targeted and engineered towards Black family homes. And someone mentioned it earlier. We didn't get positive role models like that until the Cosbys, because the Cosby Show, they took Flip Wilson off the air. They took Richard Pryor off the air. They took Nat King Cole off the air. They took all even the UPN network, the brother from another planet. They took that off the air. The list goes on. Even though the blaxploitation area is what saved Hollywood. If it had not been for the movies, Hollywood would be in existence. A little historical note for you there. These guys are not going to tell you that. They only want to tell you what's wrong with Black women and the family and why they ain't getting none.
Programs that we used to have that really did celebrate the advantages of having a mom and a dad. And
what's to celebrate about Good Times? Now you wonder why I brought that up. Did they do any better by having a mom and a dad in the house? Whereas go ahead, sir. Sure.
I was going to say, I never forget the joke, and I still use it nowadays. And I was a little girl. I remember this. James said, Social Security is nothing to be social about and sure ain't secure.
Right. That sure did say that. But now let's look at the single mother, Walona. Walona was on her thing. She was a manager at a boutique. She was able to save enough money to where she was able to rescue Hugh. Who? Penny.
She was able to adopt her, yeah.
Right. Living on her own, living good. But every man Walona ran into, the precursor to Tyler Perry, ain't shit. I'm saying, go back and look at Good Times now. Look at it with a fresh pair of eyes. Y'all see what I'm saying? I had to. It wasn't so dynamite after all.
children in the same home. And insofar as we fail to celebrate marriage, to sort of teach and train around the difficulties of marriage, you mentioned mentoring. We need coaches. We need older generations coaching the middle generations, coaching the younger generations. And this is not just sort of Black families. This is America in general. Everybody needs this, right? Yeah. And so we've lost the celebration of marriage in low-income communities as something to look forward to rely on, to rest in. And one of the things I often tell young men in low-income communities, talking about the financial incentive, you will be better off financially, right? So there's sort of two models of marriage that we've gotten twisted in this country. The first model is, you sort of call it as the, I guess one way to phrase it.
The cornerstone or the capstone?
Yeah, a capstone, right? That.
Hold on. I remember someone telling y'all ladies back in the time of the pandemic, that y'all was going to come back to the table. We as men needed to get our Astro van because we're going to need about 4 or 5 seats for all the ladies that we're going to collect. Didn't I hear that? Sure.
Yeah, I remember with the van. I remember hearing about that. Yeah.
The world's going to be your oyster. They're going to come back to the table begging. Until then, just practice with them 6 and 7s until you get that 10 that you want. That's what he said. What's up there, Lou? How you doing? Welcome in. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. Aaron Spelling and Wasserman. You're absolutely right.
That marriage is what you do as you arrive at adulthood after you checked off all the boxes. It's the capstone. Everyone's crying at the wedding like, they did it. You know, we're done. But what the research shows is that marriage as a cornerstone actually stabilizes men, women, and children, where marriage is the foundation of economic stability and thriving, mental health stability and thriving, health stability and thriving. It's the beginning of a good life. It's not that you live a good life and then get married. Right. You actually use marriage to ground and shape and structure.
Okay, so it seems to me that
That's marriage is the be all. What is it? Here all the be all.
Here all to be all. You know, if you're not married, you're not gonna prosper. Not here.
Right, you ain't gonna have no good health, wealth,
Right,
nothing.
none of that.
According to
Right,
him,
you
no
got
education, nothing.
right, nothing. Hey
You
Tiff, how
doomed.
you doing? How's the little one? How you doing? Good to see you. Right, both y'all just dropped that loop. He said both y'all.
Dang.
But look, I'm 18 years old, fresh out of high school. What do I really have to offer a wife?
You don't even know what you want yourself.
A promise. That's all I can offer her.
But what do you want in life? Do you
Right.
know? Do you even know? I know I didn't know.
At 18, I had no idea. All I know is I getting up in the morning, going to at that time I was a new member of the Marine Corps. All I know is I had to be somewhere at 7:30 in the morning. When I was finished, my time was mine. 18. Let me see. I'm going to maybe to the gym. I'm gonna go get me some chow. I'm gonna go to the mall and figure out what I'm gonna wear to the Friday night get down. What I'm gonna wear on Saturday, because I don't want to be saying the same thing on Friday night that I was on Saturday. Got to make sure my shoes match. Get my hair cut.
Yeah, staying up late. I mean, you really don't know. You may have an idea of some of your talents and skills, but they still need developing.
Yes, sir. There, Raj. I was in the United States Marine Corps for 10 years, sir. Certainly was. Appreciate that.
A life that is characterized by flourishing. And I want all children, regardless of their income level, to see that as an aspiration above career and above the acquisition of stuff. Yes. Right? Your little stupid car. Who cares about your little Louis Vuitton purse? Like,
so fuck capitalism is what he's saying. Get married. But he listen to him. He think he cooking right now, folks.
Who cares about your Jordans, right? How about how about instead of getting some Jordans, how about use that money and go to the courthaus and get a marriage license and marry the woman, and then you get all the Jordans you want because you'll be in a much better financial position to do it much later.
I love that, and you're right in terms of how the family formation script for Americans in general has moved from early and often to less and later.
Early and often to lesser and later. What are you talking about? The majority of these young white women, when they hijacked the civil rights movement and other things like that, the bra burnings and all that, it was like, no, hell no, we're not gonna go. We coming out there. I can. What's that? That perfume? I can cook up the bacon, fry it up in a pan. They meant that shit. But you're not gonna keep me in the house no more. Not gonna keep me in the house no more. No, I got my own autonomy. No, I'm much more than just your wife. Appreciate the name, but I'm much more than that.
All right. So marriage rates have declined. At the same time, the age of first marriage has increased. So in 1980, for context, the median age for first marriage was about 24 for a man, about 22 for a woman. Today it's about 31 and 29, respectively. We are trending in the direction of Europe, where in Spain, I want to say it's 35 for a woman and 37 for a man.
Well, let me ask you. This would be a question that I would ask you, Delano. Don't you think that it's better for to go into a marriage stable, that you're able to have a well-paying job, or you've established your career at usually at 25, 20, 24, 25, 26, you're out of college, you're in now into the workforce. Now maybe at that time, 26, 27, 28, 29, you're looking for a suitable mate. What's wrong with that? Y'all see anything wrong with that?
Shoot, he wants you to come on out high school and get married. That's what he wants.
Again,
He
listen,
said that you get the money and everything else later.
right, get all that later. Two broke folks don't do nothing but argue. And then you're gonna throw a baby in the mix. What's the worst? What's that movie? Dumber and Dumber, when he said, "What's the worst sound in the world? A baby crying." Imagine, and then y'all ain't got no money. The baby crying because there ain't no Similac, ain't no milk, no nothing, and you sitting there with a Xbox controller in your hand. What we gonna do?
Mm.
So we've gone from cornerstone to capstone, and we're on the verge of getting to tombstone, where you have people who have more life behind them than they have ahead of them. And just for the sake of sort of framing this, many of you have heard of the success sequence, which is the bipartisan research that shows that when young people finish high school, get a job, get married, then have children, their chances of being in poverty when they become adults is in the single digits, about 3%.
Yep.
What we don't talk about as much as is the success.
Well, explain that 50% of marriage that y'all always run around and they always talk about in Hollywood and all these different places. Explain that 50% marriage failure, if what y'all saying is correct.
Right.
Explain that. Explain all these incentivized marriage that you're talking about. Still, the divorce rate is damn near 52, 51%. Of people that, especially people that get married before the age of 25.
He got no answers for that one. I bet you.
I bet he wouldn't. I bet he couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? Logical got your Xbox, your blunt, and your 40, and no money for baby milk. Picture that. Picture that.
That is sad.
Timing. Because if I get married at 37, I have my first child at 40, and I have a son, he follows in my footsteps. Married at 37, first child at 40. I become a first-time granddad at 80 years old.
Right. To do what? To do what? You're not going to pick the baby up. You're certainly not going to take the baby to the park. You're not going to put the baby in this. Right. Right. No. Get the baby away from granddad.
My back, my neck, and my back.
He's granddad is slobbering. Let me put this up on the screen here right quick. Like I see we have another guest in the back here.
Okay.
What's up there, Special Ed? How you doing? Welcome.
Doing good. I didn't know that you was a veteran. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, man. I was in the Marine Corps. Yes, sir.
Hell yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Appreciate that.
I've been in the. Yeah, bro. I swear these young dudes don't know. Just join the military and you're gonna be set for life. It's crazy. I wish I knew that when I was younger.
Yeah, it can be, and I have sons, and I have nephews, and they ask me what my opinion of them going into the military, and I said, again, I made a conscious decision to do it for several reasons. So again, is it good to be in the military? In some cases, it is, if you're looking for to advance your educational knowledge, or if you plan to make a career of it. Uncle Sam, if you do the right things, Uncle Sam will give you them little checks at the end of the month. You got to,
Yeah. I joined the reserve when I was 21 for Army, and I'm a second lieutenant now. I don't even keep track of it anymore because when I graduated, But yeah, bro, one of my boys, he was an idiot. He joined. He got injured. You know what I'm saying? He's on 100% getting a 4K a month for doing nothing.
Right. That's right. I was about to say that's at least $4,000 a month. Just
and then he got GI Bill. That's another 3,500.
Yeah. So he's sitting pretty right now. all for his service in the military.
Yeah, he got 300K in his account, and dude can't even add things together. It's crazy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, yep, let's continue here then.
Yeah.
Anything you want to cover here before I push this play button there, Ed?
Oh yeah, yeah. Getting married out of high school is kind of wild. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what he's thinking. I you don't have the money to afford the license. So I think what you said, getting married like after college, maybe work a year or two. I think that's reasonable.
Yeah,
But
I think so too. I think you've seen the world. You might have as in to use a quote, you might have sold your wild oats or whatever. You've seen the world and you've traveled a little bit, especially going back to the military. That's another thing I would suggest anyone. If you want to see the world, the military is the place to do it. They'll take you anywhere you want to go for free.
facts,
Anywhere,
exactly.
anywhere.
Yeah, yeah. I think this guy has good intentions, but I think he doesn't really know. Yeah, I think he's a little confused. Maybe I think there's some good to get out of the stuff he's saying, but not too much. But
Not too much. Yeah,
yeah,
dare I say, I would say, does he have good intentions? I think he's being slick about what he's saying. I think he's trying to be.
maybe,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think he's being slick. He's double talking here. He's under the auspices that he's concerned about the black families, but again, to use that word, but basically what he's saying, assimilate to what the rest of America is, or we're not going to do for you. Pick yourself up by
Mm,
pick yourself up by your bootstraps. Don't ask for no government handouts.
I see.
Mm, let's go.
Yeah, yeah. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Let's go.
And consider the types of things that I'm not able to pass on to him, assuming I'm even still around. So yes, I think the sequence, the timing are important. And I want to emphasize the point that you made in terms of the cultural norms. In chapter 9 of the book, which is entitled Rally Marriage Advocates for Battle, I talk about a woman named Joy Jones, who's an author and artist who was doing substitute teaching in elementary school in Washington, D.C. This was around 2006. And she was talking to the kids about their futures. And some of the boys in the class said that when they get older, they want to be fathers. And she said, oh, this is great. It said she was so pleased to hear about their family aspirations that she offered to invite a few couples to talk about marriage and raising children. The boys were unenthused. One told her plainly, we're not interested in the part about marriage, only about how to be good fathers. Another boy explained their stance with 5 words and jaw-dropping candor.
Did that make sense to y'all just now?
I don't
Well,
think that happened.
No.
they said it's little boys there, like minor.
That sounds like what he's describing. He's not. I don't think he was specific, but I'm going to take for that he's talking about maybe a teenager at best.
And that's not their language. That's why I'm like,
No.
no, I don't believe that.
No, it's not their language, especially teenagers of today. That's not their language.
Yeah, I mean, I could kind of see it a little, just because like kids don't really think too far, and they don't know how to go from A to B. Like they think you could just jump and you can't, and they probably
Right.
just thinking I didn't have a good father, so I want to be a better father. Like I don't know, it doesn't. It's trying to teach people that don't even know what's going on. He could have just made the whole thing up, to be honest, though.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
and that's what it sounds like to me. He's trying to rationalize a point, but he has to make up something to try and drive his point home. Again, the good thing about this, I was a boy at one time or the other. I just these things that they're trying to tell me that we as black boys was talking about and thinking about. At no time would I be going to church talking about, "Ooh, look at that pregnant 19-year-old," or I would ask, I would ask, I don't want to, I want to skip the part about being married. I just want to know how to be a good daddy, huh?
Nobody talks like that.
No.
They just don't.
I ain't gonna lie. When I was like 10, I did talk like that when I was like 10. I ain't gonna lie.
I doubt it.
That's when I was like young, you know what I'm saying? Like I was 10, because I just
But
wanted a clone that looked just like me, I said I just want a son that look just like me, Yeah, but I mean that's like a little boy, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like this sounds like a little boy's thing, but it's not significant. It's just yapping. Like you should even listen to it,
it's childhood games. You're playing house, you're playing doctor, you're playing school. Yeah,
Exactly,
right. But I can see
exactly,
that
yeah.
in that setting. But to have a serious conversation like that, a kid at 13, 14, 15, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? What?
Yeah, like ain't no way he brought in a speaker to talk to them about it. Like that
That
doesn't make any
that
sense.
that part. And
Yeah,
if you're married, or if the lady was married, or whoever he was referring to was married, why would you need to bring in somebody else? Why don't you just use yourself and your husband as the
yeah,
example?
yeah, absolutely.
I'm just saying. Logical assessment. And he down in the chat room. I'm glad you used that name more.
But
Marriage is for white people. That's what he said. And today, in the District of Columbia, where we sit right now, 77% of black children are born to unmarried parents, and about 60%, particularly east of the river in Ward 7 and 8, if you know DC geography, live with a single mom. Now, for the progressives who talk so much about racial equity, I'll give you another number. 93% of white children are born to married parents. That is a 70 percentage point gap. And you can't find anyone, whether in policy, no pundit, no politician, no professor, no preacher or performer who so much racial equity will take that challenge on. So,
Okay, it's not about racial equity. It's about your double standards and your double talking. What you're saying is, 1 minute you're saying is that uh, black women in particular shouldn't have babies.
yeah, that's crazy.
But then now you're saying is, that these women are the products of the majority of single family homes. But and the next voice you're saying that black women lead the charge in what? Abortions. Which is it? Which
Yeah,
statistic is right by you guys? Sure.
yeah. He's kind of just yapping there.
Yeah. Sure. Your thoughts?
Nothing now. Nothing now.
Hard to get past some of this shit, though, isn't it? The hell is he
It
talking about?
is.
talk to me a little bit more about what this sort of cultural revolution for marriage would look like. I have a few ideas. I would love to see professional sports leagues run pro-marriage and fatherhood campaigns in all the cities they work in.
I wasn't going to get past that part.
Yeah.
Now, you know damn well. Allen Iverson, Michael Jordan, and all these great basketball players came into the league. Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, all these folks, if you go back and listen to their history, a lot of them came from not so well-to-do. When I say well-to-do, their parents weren't overly rich in some cases, but they made do. But they made sure that their sons went to college. Do you think after I got $1 million+ contract that the first thing I'm worried about doing is getting married?
Nah,
You looking at
not
her
at
over
all.
there, and then that one over there,
Shit,
and that one over there.
I got money.
You got girls in every
Yeah.
area code.
What I got, I'm gonna call them.
Girls.
Listen, money talks. Money talks. I don't have
Yeah.
to go. I don't have to go up into the club with the fake BMW keychain. I got a BMW outside.
True.
Huh.
That is a
I ain't,
fact. Yeah.
right. I ain't got to worry about whether I'm going to spend $100 on you in the first date. I got millions. What you want, girl?
I'm dead. Although I ain't gonna lie, I ain't spending more than 50 on the first date under any circumstances. I ain't gonna
I'm
lie to you.
I'm with you on that, Bubba. If it costs me $500 to get to know you, no, thank you.
Yeah, fact. That's all I wanted to know.
I'll take hell no for 200, Alex.
Thanks.
Let's continue here.
Yeah.
I believe, to your point, film, media, film television, music, and Lord knows podcasts have to be harnessed for pro-marriage purposes. But say a little bit more about what, again, sowing some of those seeds of a marriage culture would look like. Any of you want to jump in?
Well, I guess I'll go jump in. I believe that you need corporate buy-in, and the key word with that is buy. We need funds going to different podcasts.
We need the white bucks. We're not getting the crossover bucks. Officer Tatum, Anton Daniels,
Right.
Angry Man, Cellulite. We need the crossover bucks. Corporate buy-ins. But folks, on the serious note, if you go and look at Project 2025, a lot of what he's saying is exactly what they have implemented.
Yeah.
What's Project 2025?
Project 2025, oh my goodness, where do we start with that? That's a whole nother stream there. But basically, these four guys on the screen that you see behind you, they represent the Heritage Foundation. And the Heritage Foundation is the folks that actually wrote what's going on in this country right now. All the different laws that are being passed, all the jobs that are being stripped, Doge going in and taking all these incentive programs away. These are direct incentives or byproducts of a manifesto. That's the best way to put it. A manifesto of Project 2025 and how they see America. And basically, I can even narrow down as to how they see white America, to use the word again, assimilate or get the hell on.
Indeed.
As in the Borg say, for those of you who are Star Trek fans out there, you Trekkies, resistance is futile.
Indeed.
Let's go.
Sounds good.
Different companies to push that agenda. And in order to push any agenda, you need funds. You need money to come in and fund this. And I believe that's something because the things that are really making its rounds on social media is a lot of stuff that is attacking marriage. It's attacking fathers in the home. But if you go to the other corners of social media that aren't getting all the likes, you're also seeing a lot of good things when it comes to families and things such as that. So I believe if we get the corporate buy-in, that we'll be able to utilize the strength of companies, the strength of athletes. There's plenty of athletes that have massive followings that are married individuals that do good work in the community. But at the same time, as a society, we focus on all the other things. We focus on this celebrity or this influencer that's getting paid by Balenciaga or something like that, and we're seeing that, but we're not seeing the good things that are going on. And a lot of times, it just needs funding. When it comes to fatherhood, it just needs more funding. Just like some of the policies that you brought up before, a lot of times the economic aspect is geared towards the mothers and the babies, and the fathers, they get a little sliver of the pie, but a lot of times it's not anything that is economic.
We're not getting our fair share.
I put a baby in her, but I don't get nothing.
I don't get nothing.
I want some money.
Shit, I want me some money too. I want those programs. I want that AFDC. I want that TANF. I want that money too. But most of all, so y'all telling me, if I get married, I can get the big bucks?
That's what I want. That's what they're advocating for.
Let me go find me one.
I put the project 2025 in the chat for you, so you can
appreciate it.
Yeah. If you don't know about it, Project 2025, I think you'll be surprised at what you read and some of the things that you see, and that's another reason why I'm talking about me, these four black men on the screen here is an oxymoron to what the teachings and the ideology of Project 2025. I've seen nothing good that's going to benefit black families that they're trying to preach right now. Nothing.
So we need to make sure that we increase that buy-in.
So Dr. Bradley, let me come to you really quick because I want to tee something up for you because James mentioned corporate buy-in. I want to go to another institution, and in my opinion, the most important institution, which is the church. So can you speak to what would it look like for churches, particularly in low-income communities, to embrace this pro-marriage and pro-family culture?
Yeah, this is really
the danger of the church.
Yeah.
Let me mute him. The danger of the black church. Folks, again, you can be religious if you want to. Me, I have faith. And I have faith to know that some of these churches and some of these pastors, I saw one today, Pastor Manning or something like that. I forgot his first name. But when you folks get time, I don't necessarily tell you to go and to me, Mr. Fantastic's channel. But I want y'all to go over there and look at that stream to where he's talking to a black pastor. And you tell me, is that a direct representation of black life? Yazzie Boston at his finest, Coonan to its finest. Uncle Ruckus living and breathing. Uncle Ruckus living and breathing. Welcome to the show there, Prism. How are you? Your thoughts so far before we go forward?
Hey, I'm not going to stay up, but I just wanted to kind of touch on that statement about corporate buy-ins. And he was talking about the social. He said if you look at the word, he said he wanted to harness the social media platforms.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, if you think about that, what they're going to do is they're going to use social media. They're going to weaponize the algorithm. And what that looks like is pushing, like right now you might see a bunch of ads with like, I don't know, let's say pretend like, I don't know, like Crest or something. And now what you're going to see is a lot of demonetizations, deplatforming of any type of content that's not pro-marriage, pro-family on, and they'll use like social media type of things like, marriage ads. They're going to push it for corporate buy-ins where they're going to push the industry. You're going to start seeing like a whole bunch of, I don't know, like shops that sell wedding gowns, tuxes. You're going to see more religious ads. You're going to see more content coming out about, marriage and how long we stay together, like they have for BET, the Black Love series. You're probably going to see some of the, when they say corporate buy-ins, they're going to push it so that, if you work corporately, they're going to have some sort of workplace incentives for starting families early, family planning, maybe even relationship counseling, financial literacy. If you're single, they're going to push it so like, hey, if you get married, you're going to get a newlywed bonus. The company will give you $2,500 or $3,000 to start your family. They're going to have targeted health insurance. If you're married, your insurance will be lower if you have a husband and a wife. If you're a single mother or single father taking care of your children, they're going to penalize that. Your health insurance is going to be higher. They're going to get into, trying to find a way to bring like one of the things that they did is that they made it that certain religions were not allowed to practice at the Pentagon anymore. Mm-hmm. You have to, they're going to have probably stuff to talk about, traditional marriages. They're going to push that through corporate buy-ins. So basically, that's what that looks like right there. That's that capstone model that he's talking about.
Right, right.
So that means that capstone model that if you delay getting married, they're going to penalize you. So the algorithm, we already know as African American women that the algorithm has been, what's the word, radicalized against us for years, that the social media algorithms have pushed this hatred of Black women. I believe it was the book by, let me think of her name. Give me 1 second. She wrote a book called, it was, hold on, give me 1 second. I have it in my index. I'm always reading something, but it's called.
Read.
You said what?
Read.
Yeah. Okay. It's called Algorithms of Oppression: How the Search Engines Reinforce Racism.
Wow.
And it's by a lady by the name of Sophia Noble. And it's really, I've put it in my cart, but from the very small parts of the samples that I read, it's pretty
spot on.
It's powerful. Yeah, it is. So this is what they're going to use to, I hate to use this word, but I think everybody needs to be prepared for this, because this is what happened, because he's getting ready to start talking about the church. And what this is getting ready to happen is basically social engineering. They're trying to socially engineer women, children, whoever is watching social media. They're going to start pushing it so that you're looking at this stuff all the time. That's all it is.
Question for you folks on the panel here: do you think the Black church is a hindrance or a help sometimes?
You want to answer that, Ms. Char?
She might have stepped away for a minute. Char, if you're talking, I can't hear you. You can go ahead and answer that. Char, if you're speaking, your mic's out, because I don't see your mic's moving. But go ahead, Prison.
Did she go somewhere?
No, I still see her here, but I don't see the little green dots. I don't see her moving. So she might have stepped away for a minute. It's just not here.
I'm gonna wait for her to. I'm gonna wait for her to come back to answer it, and then let him finish his list.
I didn't realize I was still muted. My fault.
Go right ahead, Special Ed. What do you think on that question?
Yeah. So I don't know when the Black church has really helped the Black community at all. Honestly, I'm trying to even think about it, like quantifying the entity. I don't think it's really helped much, honestly. But I really have to think about it. But I also don't think there's much people even really going to church, because most people live pretty hedonistic lives, you know.
Yeah, and to add to that, do you think that religion, because they know how important it is to Black people, do you think that they use religion to exploit us as well?
I think that they definitely do try that. I think they definitely do try, but I think most people in America are moving away from religion in general. But I think most people do try that.
Okay. Well, that's how I see it, and I guess Prism, I'm not sure where Shar is, so I'll wait for your answer. But that's how I see it. I think that as far as religion goes, it's, to me, sometimes it's used as a scare tactic. Be right, do this or do this, walk this way or walk that way. If you're not walking in the eyes of what they say is God, then you're, dare I say, you're not a good person.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait for her to come back, because Miss Char.
I have returned. Was the question about religion?
Welcome.
Yes, yes. And I'm not sure if you heard the question, so I'll ask it again. And kind of a two-part question there, Shar. Do you think religion itself hinders or helps the Black community? And do you think that the Black community, as far as churches go, did they use that as a weaponization, so to speak, against putting Black people online, so to speak?
I'm gonna say yes and yes collectively. I get it as far as trying to get people to do a certain thing, have a certain amount of rules and regulations. I get that. It hurts us, and I think in a way that we get the short end of the stick. I don't care what it is, how much you pray, how much you bow, how much incense or whatever you do, sign of the cross. You still get the bad, the bad end of the stick and the short end of the stick. And being controlled, yeah, being controlled by it is it's used against us. Now, if you go to small institutions or not the mega churches, but in some communities, there are
Mm.
some gems there. There are some
Yes.
people that truly will help you. If you're sick, they're going to come see you in the hospital. You need some food, they're going to feed you. So you do get that. But as a whole, no, it's
Mm.
overrated.
Right. Fair. And Prism?
I'm trying to temper my words.
Don't, no need to.
I feel that.
No need to.
Yeah,
Say
that's
what.
a what is it? Politicians. I mean, politics and religion. That is
Yeah.
a sticky conversation.
Yeah.
The fact that you have to use religion to try to keep people to keep certain social standards when says a whole lot about religion.
Mm.
Um, the fact of the matter is, I think that from just my studying of Mr. Squires, the Heritage Foundation, and what I've been seeing from this Trump administration of these certain white nationalist pastors coming out speaking about that how they want to use the Bible to weaponize. I believe the man that wanted to remove civil law and use biblical law to make judgments. I think it
Mm.
was it John Rushdoony? John Rushdoony. Um,
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot of evils that come along with this white nationalism and this type of American Christianity. Um, do I think I heard a statement that white women are religious and black women are Christians?
Yeah.
And that type of indoctrination, because white women usually use church as more of a social thing, whereas black women, they really, because of the in-depth indoctrination of black people with Christianity, that black women basically have more of an allegiance to laws and rules because they've been enforced upon us so much. Am I making sense?
Yeah. But so while
Yeah.
you were saying that, so what is the difference between Christianity and this thing that they say Sharia law? What is the difference if you break it down like that? If I'm reading West,
So
welcome
let me
West to
say,
the conversation. If
so I'm not sure why West said that human beings cannot decide for themselves what is right or wrong. So moral codes and ethics have been around for way before Christianity, way before it was written in canon.
Yes.
Anytime that I hear people saying that America is a Christian nation, it really isn't, because of the deist theology that Thomas Jefferson, Thomas Paine, and all of these different initial concept of uh, leadership in our country. Whenever I hear that they remove books of the Bible to so that slaves would not think that there was ever going to be any type of
Redemption.
redemption or freedom or any type of savior coming to assist them. When they remove those type of miracles and signs and wonders from the Bible so that they could indoctrinate slaves, let them know that basically your lot in life is to serve, and no matter which way the master treats you, you should be able to submit yourself to that.
Because it's written. So it's written, so
Right.
it's said.
Because if you think about it, blacks, American blacks were not educated, so a lot of these things were told to us. Do you understand what I'm saying, Ms. Charwillie?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're absolutely
Yeah,
right.
you're saying what I said, just a different way.
Yeah, it's just nothing. There is nothing but the same playbook, the same indoctrination, using the weaponization of the Christianity and poverty. Hang on a second. When you talk about books not being in the Bible for some reason, are you talking about the Council of Nicaea? I could be talking about that and the can of worms. And um, this is such a, let me say this, this is such a, religion is such a very,
Touchy subject.
it's
Rose-
very, very, especially the religion of Christianity in
Yeah.
America and
Yeah.
the way that it's been used with this type of weaponization. And I told Miss, I'm not going to say much more because one of the things that I if you, Miss Charwillie, if you ever get a chance, I need you to go over and you can write this down. There's a ladies channel. Her name is, it's called Coffee and No Cream.
Okay.
And you have black women telling their stories about them being from the islands in America, their struggle with religion and the American church.
Okay.
You have this one pastor who's saying that black people should leave black churches and get under a good white believing church, a white God fearing pastor. He said, I love black people and I don't want to see them go to hell. But yeah, he's out. Yeah, he's right here on YouTube.
Wow.
That's what he said. So the fact that you have to say that says a lot about, when I was deeply into evangelicalism, there was this thing where I told Mr. DJ Music, and you can write this down, the Seven Mountain Theory. Okay.
Okay.
So the Seven Mountain Mandate teaches that Christians are to capture every key society institution in America or in the earth so that they can hasten, meaning speed up the return of the Messiah. So they believe that if you do not take over those seven spheres, that Christ will never return. So those seven spheres, I'm going to go ahead and okay, so hold on. So let me, before I say that, no, I'm just going to go ahead with this. So one of the things that they did for the seven mountain spheres was, the first one is government, is holding political office and shaping the laws. What does that sound like, right? Right, what's going on right now?
That sounds like Project 2025.
Right.
In education, they want to control the school systems and all the curriculum.
Project 2025.
Yeah.
Media, they want to direct the news and all public communication.
You just heard him say that just now. Project 2025.
Arts and entertainment, they want to influence cultural narratives and all of the outputs of music and arts.
Just a couple days ago, we was talking about BTS, how they wanted to relish them to the best Asian pop group.
Religion, they want to direct all the ecclesiastical structures in America.
We're going to put a Muslim ban on all you Muslims.
And the family, they want to promote all traditional household models.
If you don't get married, you get nothing.
In business, they want to manage all the economic systems and wealth.
So, David, which part of what she's saying and I'm saying that we haven't covered are we wrong about? This, what's the theory again, Prism, so he can hear it again?
You want me to read them again?
No, just the theory that you're speaking of.
Seven Mountain Theory.
Seven Mountain Theory.
Seven Mountain Theory, yes.
Right. If you don't believe it, David, appreciate your dialogue, but if you don't believe it, you can go look it up for yourself and see if anything she just said was incorrect. You're welcome to it.
So basically, they're trying to define all the cultural narratives, basically underlying stories, the values, and the worldviews that society will accept as standard or desirable. They want to define the outputs. They want tangible media for public consumption, such as films, videos, television, literature, fashion, and music. So when I came on here the other day and I said to you, we were talking about BTS concerning that song, Body to Body, with the interlude into that nationalistic song of Arirang, I told you that when I started studying more about Harvey Mason, I talked to you about this earlier, and there is a strong corporate buy-in and incentive for them to push American artists, and anything that is rap, drill music, any type like that, Megan Thee Stallion, they're going to find a way to control their output of the type of music and entertainment they start.
Yeah, and the music industry, they call that shelving an artist.
Right, or basically they're going to penalize you because they have part of they're not going to be airing you on TV. Your videos won't be able to appear on YouTube.
Yes.
Any of those things, they're going to suppress your and if they take that means you're going to have to assimilate. So shaping public opinion, they want to use entertainment platforms to shift public attitudes regarding morality, faith structure, and faith. They're encouraging people who are Christians to pursue positions as studio executives, directors, producers, and prominent influencers.
Project 2025.
They want to introduce Judeo-Christian values into mainstream media to balance or replace secular messaging.
Project 2025, soon to be 26.
Yeah, they want to focus on high quality, high budget media production intended for global audiences rather than limited release religious content.
And they're doing that with CBS. CBS is all and CNN all about caved into the whims of Project 2025 and Donald Trump.
Well, this merger with Warner Brothers and Paramount right there, that they're fighting about, that alone right there, those two studios together could really, think about it. Tyler Perry, we can think about who's on Warner Brothers, all the movies that are on Paramount, they're trying to take over. But if you recall, when I told you about Kevin Cruz, Professor Kevin Cruz, he wrote that book many years ago called it's One Nation Under God. And he talked about this type of corporate buy-in and all of these things that these people were going. He saw this stuff coming years ago.
Right.
So
yeah. Yeah, let me say hello to a couple of folks right quick. Like again, welcome. What's up there, Corey? Been a minute, man. I ain't seen you, as they say, in a month of Sundays down here in the country. Wes, welcome. John Medina, welcome. Raj, no problem there, my man. If you come back here more, just hit the link. Come on through. L Boogie, no problem. You know, again, I love your commentary and I love having you down in the chat room. So, you know, when it comes to me, I'm never the perfect typist. I misspell words all the time. I mean to say one thing, and if it wasn't for sure sometime, shit, you might want to go and change that. what is that on that advertising? No, that ain't right. But go ahead, Prism. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I don't really have. Yeah, more or less, I just wish people would read.
Right. Reading is, as they say, riffs. Reading is fundamental, but that's kind of a prelude to, because these guys are going to be talking about religion. So you guys kind of heard our perspective on it, and that's why. So let's lead into this.
Really easy. I mean, it might sound revolutionary. It goes back to the story that I told with this young man in Harlem. They need to see it. This idea that we can run them through a 6-week program, put some PowerPoint slides up, and be like, okay, you're good. They need to actually be embedded and feel it and see it live in action. They need to see parents. They need to see a couple work through an argument. They need to see dynamics happen. They need to watch children. They need to watch parents loving on their children. They need to see it. So they're like, you know what? I want to be that man someday. So one of the things that I've been encouraging churches to do.
Well, let me just stop this and let me say this, folks. There's only one man that I know in my life that ever wanted me to be better than him, and that's my pops. That's my dad. There's no man, or there's no other man on this earth that wants you to be better than him. That's it. That's the only man that wants you to do better. Your daddy, your pops.
Instead of having these programs where you isolate them and just sort of put them in a building for an hour and a half and run them through programs and teachings, we need to actually disperse the work and put these young men and young women in homes with people. Let them come over for dinner.
Didn't Robert F. Kennedy said something about putting kids in these homes, reparenting them? This is exactly what they're saying. You're just trying to soften the blow. But Robert F. Kennedy said this very same thing.
And then try to deny it.
Right. But I didn't say that. Please play. Yes, you did. And here it is. A Sambo soldier, number blue tie, black tie right here. It just basically said exactly what Robert F. Kennedy just said in a softer, gentler way. No other way to look at
it. Take them on vacation with you. Let them see your family in action.
Shit, you know what happened? Saw what happened to Nolan Wells when they went on vacation with them. Shit. What my man said on the wire. Shit.
And I think one of the things that's happened, I don't want to use the word lazy, but I'll just say we've gotten really lazy, because one of the things that we've done culturally is that we assume that, well, there's a problem and there's a program to solve it. Yeah. But what is missing is the people part of the solution. So what we actually need are people who are willing to get on the ground, to roll up their sleeves and say, we are going to show you all in our own family life what it's like to.
Okay. I'm going to give you 2 examples of a single woman single black woman that did exactly what he said. And then I'm going to give you an example of a married black woman, although she's married to a Jewish man, that did exactly the same thing that he's talking about. Former Vice President Harris, Stacey Abrams. How much hell did those 2 black women catch from black media?
Too much to count.
What's up there, Mike Spearman? How you doing, good brother? Been a minute, huh? What's his name? What's the rapper's name? Killer Mike did everything he possibly could to ruin Stacey Abrams' reputation, along with her bid for governorship. Everything he possibly could.
So, if I can interject for a second,
Sure, go right ahead.
what he's talking about is before the Great Migration to the north of blacks that moved toward the North, Chicago, and different things of that sort. When people lived in the South at that time, there was that type of community, black families around with other like grandparents, great grandparents. All these people lived in the community. Everybody went to the same church. So if something was going on in the marriage, everybody was involved in your life.
Yes.
So that there would not be any type of divorce, the children, whatever was going on there, they were there as that type of accountability. When black families started moving to the north or west or wherever they went to, they started noticing that they weren't able to keep them under lock and key for accountability so that everybody was always in everybody's business. That was kind of like a thing when my dad was pastoring and things where there was this type of mindset of accountability. If you were dating someone, you need to be accountable to someone. If you were single, you need to be accountable to someone. Accountability, accountability, accountability everywhere, telling everybody your business. And it honestly, it failed miserably.
Yeah.
This same plan that they're doing right now, they tried to do this. I told you initially when I was reading with George Bush Sr., and it also failed. You can't legislate. What's what's a good word, Miss Char? Because you can't legislate relationships and marriage and romance and telling people just to get married out of high school. I was really goofy when I came out of high school.
Who was it?
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Right.
I'm sitting there like 18 years old. I'm still like, my mom, have you cleaned your room up? Like what?
Right. That didn't really have no muscle mass yet. Muscle mass yet. You know, when I was
I
when I was
couldn't
a
imagine that, Mr. DJ Music, being married to another 18-year-old guy. Like,
no. How does that? Right. I mean, if, in some instances, listen. Some things do work. So I'm not everything is what you call, but for the most part, two 18-year-olds don't end up staying together.
Because once he look at that other girl, I'm gonna be looking like, wait a minute, what you doing? Oh, nothing. Then they'll sneaking around.
Too.
Listen. I was in the military, and I found that for every lance corporal or PFC that came in to the Corps and decided they were going to get married, usually on Mondays or Fridays, I usually had to have a counseling session. Listen, we're tired of sending the MPs out to your house. You're gonna have to stop that. You're gonna have to stop coming in here with scratches on you. Yeah. Yeah, especially, the nightlife at 17, 18, 19, 20 years old. You're just discovering the nightlife. You're just discovering brand new people, brand new women, brand new men. Why would you want to turn that down to a night of sitting at home?
Yeah, like 18-year-old guys are not like husband material. I mean,
We're not. Now, I'll be the first one to say it. I'm not gonna lie to you. You couldn't count on me to be a good husband at 18. You fucked up. That's what happened.
that's not really what this is about. This is about
Right.
marriage and creating babies.
Right.
This is
That's what
about,
it is.
this is about the group of people who historically have created the most children, historically have created the lower class of people. And basically, this type of mentality, all it's doing is creating a mindset of poverty again with Black people. Not going to college, And if you live in poverty, there's always going to be this way of thinking of how can I make fast money to get myself out of this issue. Like this man is talking about, America right now, like fortunate enough I have my own house. Okay, I have a couple different properties. Okay. But I know for the average person my age, they don't. And I know that I'm talking to people all over the place. Some people are paying like $4,000 for rent. You know, like where are these people going to find money for down payments? Fortunately, if you marry a guy or female that was in the military, you kind of get that little incentive to help you buy a home. But what about the normal people who've never been part of the military? Where are you going to get this money from? And of course, if you're suffering from poverty, the credit system is already going to be against you.
Yeah.
So where are you going to go at 18-year-olds to make enough money to take care of yourself, a wife, and they're not going to, birth control is they're going to try to take birth control off the table. So, but condoms are going to still be on the table. Imagine that.
Yeah, imagine that. Wrap it up. I'll take it. But let me jump in right quick. Like this thing about this young marriage, and even in the military. For those of you, if you're not at a certain rank, you don't get base housing. You have to be. I'm not sure what it is for the other armed services, but I know for the Marine Corps, you have to be an E4 and above to qualify for for base housing. So if you're coming in the Marine Corps as a young Lance Corporal or PFC, you're talking about 18, 19, 20, or you get married. For those first 3 or 4 years, you're paying rents outside somewhere. You're not on base housing. You're paying actual rent somewhere. And usually, because you have to stay somewhere close to the base, the rent is usually 2 to 3 times higher because they know you're in the military and they know they're going to get that check from you.
Yep.
But go right ahead, Prism. Are you there, Prism?
I'll say this real quick. It's just like with the when you for vacation, certain times of the year, those hotel rates are going to skyrocket because they know certain things are coming to town. Mardi Gras, or whatever else, they're going to jack up the price for the same hotel room. So
Sure
same
enough.
thing.
Sure enough. Absolutely. Before we push play, Prism, you want to add anything else here? Because we're about to get into this religion. So something tells me we're going to.
I'm good.
Yeah, here we go.
Have a marriage that is thriving, not perfect,
right,
but works, and we want to see this. So I'll give a quick story. I was still am mentoring this young man. I guess I shouldn't say young man now because he's almost 40. I met him when he was in high school. He was in 10th grade. His dad was a drug dealer, was incarcerated. He was on track to he was headed straight to prison. He was good at it too. He made so much money, his mom would steal his drug money, right? That's how much money he made. And so, we would go to Denny's and eat and things like that. And then one day I took him home to my family for Thanksgiving. And it was the first time in his life he saw a basic Norman Rockwell painting, but it was all black people. And it completely changed his life. I didn't know this was going to happen. But it was the first time he saw mom at one end of the table, dad at the other end of the table, cutting that dry turkey, right, with all the fixings and everyone.
I told y'all turkey was coming sooner or later. No, does that story sound made up? The art of storytelling at its finest, right here.
Yeah, once you lie to me, I'm done.
Yeah.
That's a lie.
Yeah, that's a flat out lie.
Yeah, but everything about that party and about this foundation is nothing but a bunch of lies.
Yeah,
I think Ms. Charwood pulled out all kind of cards, So I don't want to stay up here because, like I said, I was a little tired. I just wanted to talk about that corporate buy-in, but it just seems to me like how can I say this? These Negroes want to write some books, and they're trying to razzle dazzle these folks in front of them. And folks don't read books like they used to.
Right.
So, but yeah, he's just a liar. He's a bad liar too. I'm not trying
bad
to.
liar.
Yeah, I mean, look at.
Okay.
Language.
Listen, let's break that down just for a minute. Why would you bring a drug dealer to your house? He was good at it. He said it himself. He was good at crime. Why would you bring that person to your house, around your family? Why would you do that? How did you know so much information that it's so much information about that his mom was stealing his money? What drug dealer in his right mind going to open up to you? You know, coach, man, I went out and sold 2 ounces, made about a couple hundred, came back, my shit was short, my mom's got it. You gonna tell you all of that? Looking for a daddy? Listen to this, folks.
One's talking and he's praying, all this sort of stuff. And I remember JJ was like,
Yeah.
and he was like, I want that.
Yeah.
Like, I want that. So what would it really mean for us, if we're really serious about this, to not just outsource the programming or outsource the teaching, but to actually personally want to get involved and invite people into our homes, in our communities, to see it live and sort of in person and in action, to sort of cultivate a real affection for it and an affinity for it, a longing for this as an aspiration, right? We take kids to go to visit businesses all the time.
And colleges.
And colleges.
College for all. We need marriage
right?
for all.
College visits, right? We do business visits.
Hey, look here. Look. I'm going to take your ass to Spelman next week. Week after that, you better have found you a wife.
Dumb.
You can't make listen, I hate to quote Kevin Samuels, but you can't make this shit up.
You can't.
Yeah, quantity does not mean quality, and I think that's the problem. They're pushing for quantity rather than quality, because that is, I believe, he made a to the gentleman who wrote the book, Is Marriage for White People? And I can't think of the gentleman's name right now, but he attacked him in such a way, and a lot of people attacked him, that he had to basically go undercover. Let me tell you, he's not even out like he used to. But people, even when Black men and Black women came off the plantation, people have to understand that that wasn't about love either.
It's about survival.
It was, and about the amount of children they had back then is because a lot of them were indebted to the plantation owners, so they had to do sharecropping.
The more
to
hands,
pay
more
him
money.
back.
Yes,
Right.
the more hands, more money.
Have more children for that. So
Yes.
I want people to understand what reproductive coercion, reproductive resistance is what needs to happen. And I know a lot of people hate that, but this type of indoctrination to the loyalty to the flag, this country, and its economic abuse of Black people and Black women's wombs has got to stop.
Oh, wait a minute, Prism. Before the manosphere get wind of what you said a reproductive what again?
Resistance or coercion, because they're using, this is all about reproductive coercion, religious, be fruitful and multiply, a husband and a wife, get married before you carry. This is all reproductive coercion. basically, and I'm gonna be honest with you, they thought COVID was going to do that. They thought because people were going to be holed up in the houses together, that 9 months after this situation was over, we're going to have a bunch of babies popping out everywhere.
You brought up COVID, so let me ask y'all, what did COVID do to the average married couple? Told them just as much either how much you liked each other or how much you disliked each other. Wouldn't y'all agree?
Yes, a lot of breakups.
Yeah, my parents like each other. They don't just love each other; they like each other. They
That
like.
right. That's right. I didn't use the word love. Whether you like somebody or not.
Yeah, and I'm not going to be with somebody that I don't like.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm not going to be funny, but my daddy, when I let him hear this, he made this comment to me, and it's going to sound very harsh, but not towards you all, but it'd be very harsh to these gentlemen. My daddy said he was never going to take any advice from any black man that hasn't raised his children and raised grandchildren, or not raised grandchildren, been a part of their grandchildren, have seen life, have walked through the civil rights movement, have had to enter back doors. He's not going to sit and listen to a bunch of young men tell him about what life should be for a married man and what their daughters and sons should be doing when they haven't even raised their own yet.
Absolutely. The old adage goes, until you've walked a mile in my shoes, you can't tell me nothing.
Yeah, and he's 70 some years old, so you're not going to tell him what you're not going to tell him. You're not going to tell him how his daughter should live her life.
Right.
Either.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally 100 approve that message from Pops. I feel that same way myself. And listen, can young men teach me some things? Of course they can. But life lessons, is it possible? But for the majority of things, I don't think there's nothing a 35-year-old man can really tell me about life that either at one time I haven't experienced, especially when it comes to, dare I use this word, the ladies.
Yeah, my daddy said these niggas got too much time on their hands.
Yeah, they got too much time on their hands. They sure do. They sure do. If you is serious about finding a woman, you is not on a platform 10 hours a day. You're not going to be there. If you're serious about finding a true mate, someone that loves you for who you are, faults, good faults or whatever, you're not going to be in here bashing women at the top of the head. I don't care what color they are. Get mad at me all you want to, but I don't see a whole lot of Iranian men up on these platforms bashing their women, even though we say it's barbaric over there. I don't see them holding streams about Iranian women ain't shit. I don't see it. But here it is. You got 4 Yassabouses. Is we sick today? Niggas up on the platform telling y'all what's good for Black America.
Come to the NFL thing and come look at that. We take them to prison. Don't do.
What they say about that, Kobe? What did Laura Ingraham say to what's his name, LeBron James? Just shut up and dribble the ball.
Do that. We take them to all these places, but we don't take them into people's homes to see it and experience. I mean, this idea that you can just take a man who's never seen a marriage, doesn't know how marriage works, to give him a 6-week program and say you're good is like ridiculous. Yeah. Right? And this is something middle class people take for granted. When you were raised in a home.
Absolutely not.
On that institution, and then you go.
I'm not bringing no would-be felon into my goddamn house for tea and crumpets. What's wrong with you, nigga?
They can go to his house.
I'm sorry, but there's more one way to help rehabilitate somebody than bringing them up to your breakfast table. No, I'm not doing. Hey, man, what you do to get in jail? Oh, I robbed and I used to rob houses. Well, come on in. I'm just curious. Is that a Degas up there? Yeah. What's that? Michelangelo? What did Nick? You say? What time you go to work, my man?
Go out and form your own families, right? And so insofar in churches, if churches were willing to not just open their doors, but open their homes to people who are struggling and need a sort of worldview shift on the institution of marriage, I think that really would move the ball forward in a deep way that will be sustainable and will introduce some resilience.
Well, you know, if you go to the church will help you with anything. Again, the community church is gone, folks. The day of the prosperity preacher is here. The church that I went to growing up, we knew our pastor by his name. We knew what car he drove. We also know, which probably where I got it from, along with my parents and my dad and my grandfather. Maybe that's why I like landscaping so much, because I used to see my pastor doing it. Lawnmower hanging out the back. Wasn't no weed eaters back then. He had a sling blade. But he was at the church on Sunday morning preaching the gospel. Now, you got the mega churches like Crumpled Up Dollar, Joel Osteen. Remember when the catastrophe hit the Houston area and they wouldn't let nobody go into the mega churches? If you go ahead, Shar.
I'm gonna say, they pretty much shamed him, in other words, and
Right.
he opened up the doors.
Right. After they shamed him, after TMZ did a spread on him.
Yeah.
You go to Crumpled Up Dollars Church before you become a full-fledged member of that. Guess what you got to do? You got to produce 5 years of your taxes so they can decide how much your tide's gonna be.
That's incredible.
So this is what these guys are talking about. Get less indoctrinated, because let's face it, like Prism said, Black people are Christians, and they know that's a weakness of ours. We love the Lord.
He heard our cry.
Right. We are spiritual people by nature. We are spiritual people. And these folks exploit that.
Uh-huh.
Let's go.
That's good. I want to leave some time for Q&A. Martin, I'll let you have the last word here. Talk to us a little bit about what a more pro-marriage and pro-family culture would look like, right? If you want to touch on the church, if there are other institutions, what if you want to touch on legacy civil rights institutions, right? The sort of the leadership class that talks so much about the importance of equity and opportunity. What would that look like? So you can close this out, and then we'll go to Q&A.
Again, I think it goes back to policies have moral underpinnings, and those moral underpinnings must be eternal and intrinsic. They must be things that you can't touch, see, or feel. Things that are that only come from a creator, and things that are immutable. Things that will empower you and that only somebody can give you, but the government can't. The government can't give you motivation. The government can't give you identity. The government can't give you a sense of purpose.
What the fuck is an ID card? What the fuck is a driver's license? What is a social security number? But an identity. You ever applied for a job without a social security number, Shaw?
No. No, that's not going to happen.
No, that's not going to happen. How much damage could somebody do to you maliciously if they had your social security number, Shaw?
Most people I've talked to said it's taken 2 years for them to get everything straightened out.
Oh, okay. That's why it's called identity theft, dumbass. Somebody literally stole who you are by some numbers coming from the government. The first three letters usually, the first three numbers usually identify what state you were born in or where you got your social security number at if you were young enough. I'm just saying.
Meaning in life, but a dad can. And so how do we transition from the external to the eternal, and I think that it starts with the church, and it starts with the prophetic voices. Right now we're listening to, you know, the prophetic voices of America, I guess, are Joe Rogan and Stephen A. Smith. And, you know, rather than the
and they're listening to Nick Fuentes, they were listening to Charlie Kirk, they're listening to Donald Trump, they're listening to Rand Paul, they're listening to the Proud Boys. The list goes on of who young white America is listening to. Did you forget that, sir?
people who are speaking truth, like Dr. Bradley, like yourself, like others. And I'm going to put a comma here and pause for a moment. We had the privilege of preliminarily reading your book. It's prophetic. And if I could purchase that book and give it to not just everyone in this room, but every congressman, every politician, every pastor, it would change our culture. You'd pull no punches. And
every pastor, go ahead and let's go ahead, because we know black women are some of the most spiritualist people on this planet. Not only in the United States, I'm talking about this planet. Let's go ahead and get these preachers to get them in line. These preachers. Let's brainwash them through religion. Let's tell them that God has ordained me, as Joel Osteen, to lead the flock. Richard Pryor said it best in Car Wash. If you cannot believe in something, why not believe in me? Sure. Hey there, Atlanta Love. Thank you very much for the 10 jewels. Thank you. Welcome, welcome in. Go ahead, Sure.
I've got nothing. Just waiting for him to get to the end.
Right, because listen, they're going to pull out all punches in the end. They got somebody warming up right now for you.
And, you know, we spoke earlier about needing bodyguards and things, but the reality is that you're speaking truth where it needs to be spoken when no one else is, when everybody else is playing church and not living church, as Dr. Bradley mentioned. We've got to have prophetic voices that do that. Yeah. So thank you for doing it with your book.
Absolutely.
Lastly, and again, just to close, I would say that the church has got to not only speak that truth, but live that truth. And again, as Dr. Bradley so eloquently said.
Ooh-wee, some of the biggest, what you say, pastor? Whose pastor is this? Listen, the scandals that be coming out the church. Let's not talk about the Catholic Church. Good God. Let's not talk about the people that Donald Trump just pardoned, but the number of images of children on their phone and on their websites, but yet he's out free with a pardon. A pardon. I'm just saying, folks.
We've got to model it, and so people can see the truth that changes us.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And as we transition to Q&A, I just wanted to say one thing. The title of this event is called Invisible Men. And as I said, Father's Day is coming up. And to Dr. Bradley's point, right, to everyone's point, actually, fathers play such a critical role in the lives of their children. And the point of the book, because I know some people will see the subtitle, they'll see welfare and feminism, and they'll make conclusions. But I'm not trying to adjudicate the gender war between men and women. I wrote the book because my position is that family policy and family culture should be primarily about the needs and rights of children, not the desires of adults. And that children have a right to the affection, protection, connection, correction, and direction of their mother and father, the one man and one woman who created them, and that right is best exercised in a loving, low conflict, safe and secure home with a married mom and dad. That is the purpose of this project. That is the purpose of this work. And that is a subset of the work that we do. Actually, a cornerstone.
Listen, any chance he got to make damn sure y'all's married. Ain't none of this shit gonna work.
Okay, according to him.
Slick talking son of a bitch. But look, he say the best for last though, folks. Wait. You're gonna love this.
Of the work that we do at the Heritage Foundation, and that's why it was important to have this discussion. So, thank you, panelists. Would you give the panelists a round of applause, please?
Oh, nigga, please. Nigga, please.
8 minutes for Q&A. So, questions? We got a few. Wherever you want to start.
Don't you listen to these stupid motherfuckers.
Hello, Delano.
Hello.
Congratulations. Very proud of you here at Heritage. I have a lot of questions, but I can corner you on some of them and ask the panelists.
All right.
So you mentioned the culture. I think that has a huge part to play.
What culture?
I'm wondering, I think the culture has kind of gone downhill for Black communities, white communities, our music, our movies. You know, you mentioned the Cosby Family, but even the sitcoms now, the dad is kind of the joke. You know, he's the punchline of every sitcom. But particularly, you know, I'll ask the hard question, like rap music.
Couples, particularly African-American couples in the 19th century, and lyrics that it put out.
We're short on time.
Do you see the difference in the Black community versus the hard question, like rap music? Seems to be particularly.
My fault there, folks. But lady, there was a popular show in the 80s and the 90s. What was it? What those Olsen twins was on? Y'all remember that show, Shar? You remember that show? What was that name of that show? Anybody?
I remember it, but I never watched it.
No. What was going on in that show?
Wasn't it two men raising children? I think?
Two men, right? Right, and one of them was they were shacking up for a while until they got married.
Oh, okay.
Wholesome values. How about Three's Company? Wholesome values, huh?
Jack was always into something.
Oh, okay. And Mr. Furley always accused him of what? He had to play the role of what? Being a gay guy, so Mr. Furley wouldn't kick him out.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to say. I mean, so what wholesome values are you talking about, white lady? This is the Friends was what? What was the biggest movie or the sitcom that they talk about? Friends. What was going on at Friends? Everybody was sleeping with somebody in Friends. Am I wrong?
I didn't watch it, but I'll believe you. I'll believe you.
And now one of the highest rated shows from the 70s and the 80s was Dallas. Who shot JR? So what are you talking about, lady? Ozzy Osbourne bit the head off a bat on stage. The #1 song of 1980 was by Benny Mardone's Into the Night, where he was talking about sneaking into a house, sneaking up and stealing a 16-year-old. She's just 16 years old. I'm just saying, white lady.
Violent, degrading, at least, you know, Caucasian communities have country. There's Darius Rucker, but, you know, country seems to promote that marriage family culture. How did it get so that direction in the Black culture? Like, where did rap music become so, like, when I grew up, it wasn't necessarily pervasive that it was violent. You know, I don't know. It just seems different now. I mean, I turn on popular music and I can't listen to it because it's so pervasive. And And the women rappers too. I mean,
wait a minute. Oh, baby, baby. Oh, what was Britney Spears singing about?
I don't know. I'm lyrically challenged, so.
Yeah, it was hard to understand anyway. But there's another one. What was Avril Lavigne singing about? What was Sinead O'Connor singing about? What was all these Amy Winehouse and all these folks that they hold in such high regard that their music, what was they singing about? Debauchery, liquor, alcohol, wine, beer, selling themselves short. They sleeping in Elton John made a song, and if folks, if you ever got time, go back to the album Goodbye Yellow Brick Road and listen to a song, or you can tune in shameless plug on Sunday night, Classic R&B Jams Radio with yours truly, DJ Music, and I'll play it for you. It's called Sweet Painted Lady. Listen to it. Or listen to Someone Saved My Life Tonight. He's singing about an overdose that he had in his basement. And if it had not been for his gay lover finding him there, Elton John would not be alive right now.
Oh, wow.
So miss me with the debauchery and rap music. It's the society as a whole. It's what our society created. Yes, there's some black men out there that created the trip drill. My bad. They did. But once black women decided, you know what? I ain't got to be your video vixen. I can do this for myself. Now it's a problem. Okay.
I mean, it's really, I find it quite offensive. So I'm wondering, how do we turn that around? Like, why can't they rap about families and marriage and children and athletes?
Well, ask y'all folks, because you know who buys most of this music that you say you disapprove of? White ladies like you buying it for your children. White ladies like you. Mom, I want that new Drake CD. Mom, Kendrick Lamar is the shit. Mom, I'm a member of the Beehive. 50 Cent. G-Unit. Get your ass out of here, as in Dave Chappelle would say.
Too. I mean, again, it kind of addresses the whole culture. Do you see the difference in the black community versus the white community at all, or is it?
So I'll say this. So I have an entire chapter. It's chapter 8. It's called Reject Destructive Media, and I start with. It's a name some of you may have heard of, but many probably have not. Her name is C. Dolores Tucker, civil rights activist. She's passed away now, but she was on a crusade in the early 1990s against gangster rap and the types of degrading imagery and lyrics that it put out, particularly around black women. What I say in that chapter, and this goes back to something Dr. Bradley was talking about in terms of the Cosby effect, is that you can't sow Snoop Dogg and reap the Cosby Show. Now, how we got there is a long and complicated story. I mean, there's such a rich cultural tradition of black music, whether Negro spirituals, gospel, jazz, blues, rhythm and blues, soul music, funk music. And then even with hip hop, it didn't start off in that particular direction, but I think there were financial incentives. There were cultural incentives. Mm-hmm. There was the breakdown of the family. So guys were, in some respects, rapping about what it is they saw. But a big part of it was how much money they could make by degrading their own community.
Well, again, we're going to close with that. We don't even want to listen to what the next one said. But the point of the matter is this. Listen, Short. You can blame it on all you want to, saying that these folks rapped about what they saw. And that was the lure of rap music. But again, you cannot get past the fact that the majority of the people that put this music out there, that the majority of people that talk about and buy rap are white folks. White teenagers more predominantly. And since most of these white teenagers don't have jobs, who is footing the bill for this booming industry of rap? Who's at their concerts? Who's buying their CDs? Who's buying their who's what do you call it now? Who's streaming their music? Even at 14% of the population, we couldn't turn these guys into global superstars. Not with our dollars.
Right.
They need the big bucks. They need the crossover bucks. And that's it to it. So again, I don't know what you folks got out of these Yazabouses. Is these We Six? Is these, like I said, one of the movies that I love to quote is A Soldier Story. And like Sergeant Waters said, because at some point in time during my military career, and still now sometimes, they still refer to me as Sergeant Waters, whether it's a compliment or whether they're just yanking my chain, so to speak. But one thing rings true that Sergeant Waters said: you know what damage, or you know how much damage an ignorant Negro can do. We just saw a prime example of how much damage 4 ignorant Negroes can do. Because they thought they were spot on. But all they did was preach the gospel of their Bible, Project 2025, under the guise of let's help the Black community. It's an insult. I don't know, Sterling, if you're on my end or their end, but it's an insult to have these 4 men trying to stand up and say they represent the Black community. No, you're on the fringe. You're the folks that we say that all skin folk ain't kinfolk. You're 4 prime examples of that. Sure. Any closing words?
Well, thank you so much for having the show. Sorry ABT didn't join. Maybe next time.
Yeah. Again, ABT, I'm sorry you couldn't make it. I'm sure you were busy, but again, thank you. I revisited this show. Again, this was around Father's Day. I did this, so this was June. So since June, a lot has happened.
Yeah.
So again, it's funny how things fall into place sometimes. We're talking about the Grammys, and but the Grammys is global, folks. It is, and to me, and I'll say this without passion, not because I'm in the industry or because I play music or that's part of my persona, but what I'll say, I've learned early in life that music is one hell of a teacher. That's how I learned to speak Spanish, listening to Stevie Wonder, long before I ran into any person of Latino descent. Mm-hmm. Go listen to the song, I Am Singing. Go listen to it and see if he doesn't sing in Spanish. And that's how I learned to speak Spanish. Go right ahead, Shaw.
Thank you again.
Again, thank y'all folks for tuning in. Let me go over here and say appreciate you, Sterling, for stopping by. L Boogie, always a pleasure having you and reading your comments. Lana Love, thank you so very much for the stars. You're a star yourself. Of course, Prism, thank you so very much for your words of wisdom and your comments. They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but I seem to always learn something when you grace me with your presence here on my platform. So thank you very much. Of course, Corey, good seeing you again, my man. Mike Spearman, thank you so very much for dropping through. Club Fortune, my man, appreciate you. Wes, although we didn't agree on some of the comments that you made, I do appreciate your commentary, but I didn't want to get into the Christian versus Catholic thing. That's for another show. Definitely I have my thoughts on the Christian religion. Some of them might not be too favorable, but we'll go with that. I appreciate you dropping through. John Medina, the list goes on. Of course, Raj, thank you for, as I know him up there, Special Ed dropping through. Thank you so very much. And for all you folks that I can and can't see, David, I don't know you, but again, you're welcome to your comments, whether I agree with them or not. As long as they're respectful, I have no problem with it. again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. If you're interested in some good jazz, coming up at about 8 o'clock, it's the JDCD with DJ Jeff Daniels. And on Sunday nights, I am live at Classic R&B Jams Radio, playing hits from the decade, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. And I think my next live stream will be sometime this week, or I'll be probably more than likely talking about the state of Black music and the state of Black radio in particular. So again, the stream on BTS kind of inspired that stream, so I got a lot to say. And so for all you musicians or anyone that's been in the industry, if you want to be a part of that stream, just hit me up in my email or just hit the link when I drop it, and we'll chop it up about the state of music and the state of Black radio. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, watch your 3, your 6, and your 9. I got to go. Reverend, welcome out the door, shall you?
Look, all you motherfuckers been snitching for him and shit. Now you standing up in here and goddamn it talking about preaching preacher. Fuck that nigga. Fuck that. I'm gonna shoot your ass too, motherfucker. Keep on. You gonna get shot too, nigga. You gonna get shot. God bless the fool, goddammit. God bless the fool. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm gonna end this goddamn thing. Look, where's that goddamn money bowl at? Who got that money bowl? We're taking that money right now before you leave this bitch. We ain't leaving out here for free, motherfucker. Yeah. Y'all know the motherfucker ain't no good. You want, look,